Well, hello and welcome to the Jinx Shifters AOSC11. Yes, it's season 11, round number 2 already. It's happened so quickly. I'm Matthew Kavanagh, and joining me in the commentary box, of course, is Daniel Leet tonight. It's just the two of us, buddy.
Yeah, g'day, mate. Great to be back for the second round. Nice to have you back for the first time of season 11 as well. And, mate, we're at Chicago. It's going to be an awesome race for us to see how the guys navigate this brand new, unique street circuit on iRacing.
It is a very brand new and unique circuit, and we'll get to that in just a second. Big shout out, though, of course, to RaceKraft Simulations who are on board, and we saw the votes go out last week, which was great to see. So, you know, those pedal sets between them and simrigs.com, putting those up for who we judge as probably the best driver out of the season. So can't wait to see how that unfolds, of course. Big shout out to simrigs.com as well. Race Circuit Art Australia, track cams for gourmets, and AJ Insurance Services are coming on board once again. So it's great to see some of those familiar names, as well as the RaceKraft Simulations from over in WA. They do a fantastic job and plenty of sim racing going on over there. But also a huge shout out to supporting us as well for AOSC11 is Team 126 Racing out of New York over in the USA, helping us broadcast this around the world. So it's great to see those guys come on in. Originally dirt track guys, but they've sort of got in the sim racing, did a little bit of, they sort of got in the road racing with the bikes, then they got into the sim racing over the COVID period, and great to have them on board supporting us as well. But yes, let's get back to it, Dan. Chicago, a very interesting track, and this one's going to be a tricky one tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Seen it's 12 turns around this circuit, some very wide portions of the track for the guys to really utilise in the first half of the lap, but then the second half gets very, very technical. It's a lot of one-way or single file racing that we're going to expect to see, probably from down sort of turn 7 through 8, the big run up through turn 9 for the guys to keep an eye on as they crest the curve and go down, and then another very tight section through 10 and 11. So fingers crossed we don't see an incident in one of those points, because if we do, you can almost guarantee it's going to be a certain track blockage at that point.
Yeah, I did do a couple of laps around this turn, a couple of laps for the first time earlier this evening, just to have a look at what goes on. Tricky too with the painted lines as well. I do notice there's not a lot of grip out there. Hopefully, as it starts to rubber up, we will find a bit more of that, and quite easy to understeer around some of the corners. But like you say, that back half of the track, and I really like where you come to 7, it's very wide, and as you come around 7 and go to turn in, there's not a lot of room there. So you're not going to see a lot of people, if you're on the inside coming around that, you do not want to be on the outside of that inside car, because no room whatsoever. The other thing is, I reckon, coming into pit lane, you're going to come off that turn 12 and you have to be really sharp to get in there. And where you rejoin coming out into turn number 1, very good for the cars coming down if they see the car coming out of pit lane. But if they don't, this one could be a few incidents there, I reckon, as the night goes on. Only 43 laps tonight to get it done. Our qualifying session underway right now. As you can see, the timer has started. So tonight, we have our top 10, obviously, from our pre-qualifying, who will go out for their single lap shootout. So the top 10 will go into a single lap shootout, and we will be broadcasting that one. So that one's going to be pretty exciting to see. And it looks like we've got Corey Shepherd in there, Jordan Ross, Boyd's in there, Briggs is in there, Frid's in there, Brian Borg's back, he's done well, Postlewaite is in there, Freer's in there as well, Hobson, and of course Dodd will be in our top 10 single lap qualifier. So can't wait for that one tonight, Dan, because you are going to have to risk it to get the biscuit tonight here in this street course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think back to Long Beach last year or last season as well, we saw a very similar thing where we had the single lap shootouts in that one as well, and it really shook up the field at the start of that event. So, being a new circuit here, the guys haven't had a chance to get a lot of laps in. The car's probably still coming to these guys, and if you do make a bit of a meal of it, which is very easy to do, judging from what we've seen out there tonight so far, you're going to put yourself well down the order, and with the field quality that we've got here tonight, it's going to take a long way to work your way through. I think the other big thing that we should touch on as well, the absence of James Scott tonight. We saw him take the win last time out with Sam Blacklock in the 4-hour enduro at Nürburgring for round 1. Not here tonight, so could we see another win from maybe Corey Shepherd, or will it come from a little bit further in the field tonight as well?
We've got to remember, Andrew Dyson and Adam Briggs were super impressive last week, and they managed to make themselves up a couple of positions, getting to second past Corey Shepherd and Brian Borg. So we'll have to see what goes on there, but it'll be very interesting to see how that's going to be going and how interesting tonight could happen in the street course. The overtaking could be very, very dangerous around this track, but you can see Aaron Dodd out there at the moment getting a lap in, and we're just trying to just confirm whether this is the start of our top 10 single lap. I don't believe it is, with Aaron Dodd just doing this lap. RaceKraft Simulations on the side. So here we go. He only has one lap to do this. So this is this single lap shootout here. Aaron Dodd was number 10. Now, let's see a couple of purple sector times there. We're just waiting for his time to come up. in the 9.5 Sim Sport entry. Just seeing we get a time up on our screen. It hasn't come up on my timing screen, so might need to just refresh that. But it'll be very interesting to see how Aaron Dodd goes. Of course, Brenton Hobson in there as well is going to be taking on. Tom Freer's back. Now, we know he's been super impressive throughout the season in terms of strategy. Unfortunately, though, he's been brought unstuck by a couple of safety cars in season number 10. So let's hope tonight that all comes together for him, as I can see a couple of people coming out of the pits and getting ready to go on. So big shout out to all our sponsors once again, of course, AJ Insurance Services, simrigs.com, Acuta as well, which has come on board this season. It's fantastic to have them on Acuta Solutions. Of course, everything you need when it comes to state-of-the-art equipment for telecommunications, utilities and construction sectors, from safety gear, storage solutions and personal protection equipment and consumables. They have a wide variety of products. So if you're into getting up ladders, hanging off things, trying to put telecommunications equipment up in, you know, height safety sort of stuff, go and check them out at Acuta Solutions. Fantastic to have them on board for season 11 of the Jinx Shifters AOSC. And of course, another shout out to RaceKraft Simulations over there in Western Australia. I know the boys are plenty of series going up. If you check them out, actually, they do quite a lot of sim racing, supply a lot of sim parts over in Western Australia. So they do quite a lot of supply to the sim racers over there, and in-house they do run their own series. And one of our fellow commentators over there, a bit of a shout out to those boys, because I know they get into it as well. I know Chris Mitchell will be has been not only behind the mic but also behind the steering wheel, so a bit of a shout out to him in WA, hoping he's enjoying his time over there. Aaron Dodd, though, we check up there last time was a 1:24.65 to do that, but we'll believe it will be his lap. So 1:24.65. Now, looking at things a little bit earlier, we did get in the high 1:22s. So that's where it is when we're right up the pointy end of it now. Like we say, no James Scott here tonight. So without James Scott, who will it be that's going to be up there as number one? As it looks like Christian Smart now getting around. Not part of our... these are outside of our top 10. So, of course, doing our single lap shootout, even though our whole field only gets one lap. So, Dodd's gone out early and done it. He hasn't done it in the sequence there, but everyone will get one lap. So, they're all doing it in the background. If you just joined us, if you've never seen the sim racing like this before, basically everyone gets a lap with no one on the track in their own little world. But we can go between the cars. So, they'll be at different times when they decide to come out. They have a certain period of time we have allocated them. And in that certain period of time, they have to go out and do one flying lap. They get an out lap, they get one flying lap, then they come in. And that is the time they set in a single lap shootout style qualifying. So on this street course, a little bit slippery there, not as rubbered up, and you got all the white lines and everything like that, and a few undulations there, and as well as a few bumps to go into some of the corners. So very easy to lock a brake up, understeer, all that sort of around this track. And I tell you what, coming to turn number 7, it is quite wide coming on the entry, but once you get around the corner, it is very shallow. So there's a bit of work to do there for those guys as well. They need to stay on top of that, and it'll be interesting to see how tyre degradation goes here tonight. 43 laps, so it is only a sprint race. Not really much to talk about in terms of pit stop strategy. Just fill her up and let's go, grab some tyres and finish this race off. We'll have to see how it goes in case we do have a safety car. Andrew Dyson, though, is out, and he is in our top 10, I do believe. No, he just missed out, actually. Andrew Dyson was just outside the top 10 in our pre-qualifying, so he is not actually going for a top 10 position. Well, he could end up there, really. He's got a single lap shootout, but he's not in the top 10. So let's see where he finds it. What time does he get? A 1:24.05. So not a bad time, but like I say, we have been in the 1:22s. Another very tricky track, and there hasn't been a lot of time to practice on this. It is a new track in terms of iRacing. It hasn't been around for a long time. Everyone coming to terms with it, as well as the car setup, and everyone likes to drive a slightly different style of driving, so they like to have their car set up slightly differently as well. And we'll be interesting to see how this goes. Adam Hayne just going into position number 2 with a 1:24.40. Todd Hayne behind him with a 1:24.62. Aaron Dodd's now moved back into 4th position. So Andrew Dyson is the fastest so far to go out and put a lap together. You see Rob Bowden from the Tanked SRT team. Very similar livery to last year. Looks almost identical there. Jump on board with Anthony Jewell from the team RaceKraft Motorsports. All camouflaged up there with a big RK on the front. You can see the RaceKraft Simulations car getting around here on this one. Just having a look at his sector times to see him go through. Can't see any purple sector times at this point, but it looks like this is actually his run. Only one lap, but this doesn't look like his out lap. This looks like his actual qualifying lap at the moment as he gets around. Just having a look up the top there to see if anyone's moved in. Sebastian Tixio and the Premier Racing team's got a 1:24.65. on his lap, so he's in 5th position. Ken Latter is out there at the moment. Looks like he is... he's actually done his flying lap by the looks of it too. So he is down there in 6th position. Let's see as we go across the finish line here though. Anthony Jewell, does he go up into 14th position there? 125.77. So 14th position there for Jewell as we get on board with Michael Talianchis. Now this is a super impressive racer, Mickey T, from the Pursuit Sim Racing team. The number 777 now goes through the field. Unfortunately though, he has not had the best time when it comes to qualifying in season number 10, and it didn't really start well for him last week either. He qualified a bit further down with his teammate. So Michael Talianchis had a fair bit of work to do last week, and he needs to just qualify up a bit higher because we know he can drive through the pack, but that's not what he wants to do. Imagine what would happen if he started out of the top 5, what he could do and where he could end up. Maybe we could see him actually winning a race, because last week they ended up in 13th. They started out of position 34. So that was with Sebastian Flock. So, you know, that was a big improvement. 650 Ks last week. It was 111 laps. So great effort from him, though. But that is such an, you know, to go through the pack like that. I'm just trying to see whether we've got him coming in, whether we get a time for him yet. We head over on now, and you can see the JK signs down here. Damien Johnston now from the Synergy Sim Racing. JK signs entry. Missed out on the top 10 opportunity there for the broadcast, but he's on screen, as you can see at the moment. They're getting around, and just green sector times there. Maybe he can do something here as he comes not too far away. Comes onto the final corner. Turn number 12 onto the main straight. Looking the 33 do, Damien Johnson. 126.210, so position number 19. Puts him down a bit further than he would want to be, so he won't be happy about that one. He'll be looking to improve on that one. I'm trying to see where Michael Talianchis ended up, actually. Just remembering, too, that when it comes to iRacing, if you grab a wall, too much curve, anything like that, get some points there, and it's going to be very easy to brush a wall around here, it can void your lap time. So with only a single lap shootout here, final corner, just slides it out a bit, Hobson. Well, he's starting his hot lap. There we go. That's why he's pushing so hard. So Hobson is starting his hot lap right now. He was actually 9th fastest qualifier in our pre-qualifier. Oh, yeah, a bit of wheel spin. He's going to have to control that as he gets around. The number 88, JK Signs, Synergy Sim Racing entry. See on board here. Got to hug those walls. You don't want to make contact, though. You could void your lap. See how he goes. Let's put to the floor. You're going to try and grab 5th here? No, he stays in 4th. Get down again, then you get hard on the brakes. It's not too bad here. It's quite wide as they come out, and that's turn number 5. Head down to turn number 6. You can see how wide this road is here at Chicago. 3.44 kilometres to get around here. The left-hander now at turn number 6. Over the crest. We head towards turn number 7. Brendan Hobson, green sector times here. It's very shallow though on the exit here. Not quite as wide as a track you have had. Then we go in this little bus stop style section. Feather the throttle a bit here. A little bit of brake. Slides the car slightly. Pulls it up for turn number 11. Heads up, final corner approaching. It's a right-hander. Quite wide on the exit. Uses all the track. Here he goes. What can he do, Brendan Hobson? Looks like he's in the 125, so won't be happy about... Oh, 124.78. P7. So position 7 for Brendan Hobson, Synergy Sim Racing. Can he hold on to that position? Because we've still got, what have we got? 8 other cars. So Tom Freer now getting around in the 707. This is his out lap, so he's just warming the tyres up, getting the brakes done, making sure there's some temperature. Few corners left to go, and then we will see him get onto his flying lap here for the top 10 single lap qualifier. Tom Freer, impressive in season number 10. Like I say, there's a few races there where things just didn't quite go the way of Tom Freer, although he was probably on a really good pit stop strategy. Just unfortunately, the timing of the safety car hurt him in a few of those races, but we did see him team up a couple of times in the Enduros and be very, very successful. Will season 11 be his year? You never know. Last week he came 4th, teamed up with Brenton Hobson. They made one position. They started out of 5th. They ended up in 4th position. That man there, Tom Freer, led for one lap of the race last week. And here he goes. We are underway now with his qualifying lap. This is the one that counts, Tom Freer. Well, and it is very hard not to spin the tyres a little bit. Under brakes, slides the car in, holds onto it though nicely. And here he goes, he comes around. Heads up to this slight right-hander, it's foot to the floor here. You're in fourth, you grab fifth, back down to third. That slight right and turn 4, 5 though is a sharp right. Still a little bit of room there if you can go past the tyres. Head down to 6 as a left-hander as you get down the end here. Get a bit of speed up though. You need to be careful under braking with those lines there. You do not want to be on the white or yellow lines. Typical street circuit style. They can get greasy up over the crest into turn number 7. Now be careful. It's not as wide on the exit here. Oh, and he makes contact. That could void his lap. And we've seen this happen to Tom Freer in season 10 at tracks like this, the street circuits. When it comes to racing, it won't matter, but he's got off the accelerator. He knows the lap is void. That is unfortunate for Tom Freer because we know how competitive he can be, and he's pulled into the little safety barrier there as well, and looks like he's just going to bring the car home there, so he's pulled through the safety area. He is done. Drop of the clutch, have a bit of fun, because he will be starting a bit further down than he wants to for Tom Freer, but we'll be interested to see if he can make his way up through the pack. As you can see, the damage turned on tonight. We do have one fast repair tonight. And compulsory pit stops, it's telling me 2. So we are actually going to go 2 pit stops just to change things up. Now, this is where strategy could come into play there for Tom Freer. 2 compulsory pit stops. We'll be interested to see how that goes. So we're just waiting to see if Postlethwaite will come out and do a lap. We can see the 17, of course. And, you know, as you can see the 017, it means Mr. Borg is out there. Mr. Brian Borg, of course, running the old... Dickie Johnson 17, he loves the Fords, and RaceKraft Simulations been on board now was in season 10 as well, but of course prominent now in AOSC11 is RaceKraft Simulations, and they've got that proud and well and truly on the side and the front of the car. So Borgie underway with his lap. This will be his out lap, just getting ready to go. Warming the tyres up through 6. So he's about halfway through his lap at the moment, his warm-up lap there for Brian Borg. Wait to see what he can do. Last week he came third with Corey Shepherd, teamed up of course with his teammate Corey Shepherd, who came second last season in season number 10. They actually lost a position. They started out a second in that race, got a bit of a battle there with Dyson and Briggs, and they got the better of him in this one, but Borg will be keen. He knows his teammate Corey Shepherd is going to be super fast, so he's going to have to push on in the RaceKraft Simulations Mustang. Be interested to see how he goes. He comes around, and here we go. We're about to get underway now with our flying lap. All right, let's check this out. We're looking at the sector times here as Borgie comes around. See if we can get a purple sector up. He'll be looking for that one. 17, Brian Borg. Not going to get one come up on my timing screen. There we go. 24.4 is what we can see in Sector 1. So he's not doing too bad. He's 2 tenths down, though, we are hearing. So 2 tenths down from the Premier Racing Team entry there. He just joined us, Jinx Shifters, season number 10 of the AOSC. Big shout out to Jinx Shifters, of course, great products. And we're here for race number 2. It's Chicago, and it's a 3.44 kilometres, 43 laps here tonight. But we are in the... Oh, lock up of the brakes there for Brian Borg. We're in the single lap qualifier now as Brian Borg, who pre-qualified down in 7th from... Oh, was he 6th position pre-qualified, but he's out there in a single lap shootout now. The time to beat at the moment is Andrew Dyson with a 1:24.06. He's going to be close. Sector 2. He's caught up a little bit of time there, but Sector 1 letting him down at the moment. See as he comes around, it's a 1:21, gets on the gas, he's got to finish this lap. Gonna be close. Wait to see the time come in, a 1:24.34 I'm seeing up there. So 1:24.34 will not get the Dyson, but ends up in P2. So position number 2 for Mr. Brian Borg at the moment, but there are a number of names in front of him. Shepherd, Ross, Boyd, Briggs, Frid. They all are still to come, but out on track at the moment. Glenn Postlethwaite from the Synergy Sim Racing now out to do his lap in the number 95. And you can see this is the start of the flying lap, is it? Yes, it is. Start of his flying lap as he comes around turn number 1. And every time they come around turn number 1, everyone is struggling to maintain that tyre grip as they come out. And it is very, very hard. There's a couple of little bumps there. You're trying to get on the accelerator and just get that power to the ground, but very hard there. Slide the car out here under full acceleration. Turn it in. Now you got to hit hard on the brakes. Turn number 5. Then we're onto it again. We're going to get up into 4th gear, maybe push 5th. I don't think you're going to get up into 5th down here. Pulls over to the right-hand side. You do not want to be on those lines. It is a street circuit. The crowd watch on. Lost away with a little bit of a break up. Not quite on the money in Sector 1. He's down a little bit at the moment when it comes to sector times. Oh, slides the car out again. You can hear the wheel spin there. The engine revs up. He's going to lose a little bit of time there. Postlethwaite down in Sector 2 by a 10th as well. You can see the aggression though as he puts the number 95 around the corners. Heads down to the final corner. I think this will put him down somewhere around P5. Oh, he slides the car out too. That's not going to help him with the times. He could end up further down, but I'm going to say somewhere around P5. We'll wait for the time to come in, and it's P10. He really got a lot of wheel spin on that final corner, and that has hurt him with a 125.06. But so aggressive around this race track, really, around the race style circuit. It's a road circuit, I should say. So aggressive around the road circuit. I think that has cost him, because I think being too aggressive around the road circuit causes you to get too much wheel spin. And it's going to be Bailey Frid now, who's just warming the tyres up there. A couple more corners to go for him, and he will be underway with his single lap shootout qualifier. So Frid was in 5th position in our pre-qualifying, and he's doing super well. See how he went last week. I mean, if you've just joined us on the telecast here, we're on the broadcast, I should say. I shouldn't go back that old school, should I? Should be on the Jinx Shifters AOSC11 broadcast tonight if you just joined us. No James Scott tonight. So our season 9 and 10 winner, James Scott, who dominated last week with his teammate Sam Blacklock, you know, he is not here tonight. So we'll have to find out who's going to get an opportunity and who could possibly walk away with the championship lead here tonight. Okay, we are on the flying lap now. Bailey Frid. You see the track racer entry. He is good to go. All thanks to Pursuit Sim Racing. Big PSR on the lid of this car. Let's see how he turns the car in here. Pulls it up nicely too. Nice drive out of there. He didn't hear the engine come up either, so it doesn't sound like he's got too much wheel spin on that one. Down to turn number 6. Sector 1 is good. He's running the numbers. Not too far off our leader at the moment, Andrew Dyson. Pulls it up. Shallow exit on this corner, and he does a nice job of that one too. Trying to control the aggression. You don't want to spin the wheels as they go around. Oh, he's just off of our leader at the moment. There's only a few hundredths of a second between them as he comes out of Sector 2. Here he goes, he pushes on. What can Bailey Frid do? The final corner as he turns onto the main straight. Doesn't get too sideways out of that one. We're going to have to watch for this one. Will he come up P1, P2, P3? It's a P3 there. A 124.37 to a 124.34 of Brian Borg. So Borgie is a big mover in this one at the moment, staying in 2nd position. Andrew Dyson, who wasn't in the top 10 in pre-qualifying, is still leading us out with a 124.06. And it's going to be his teammate. Is it on track at the moment? Adam Briggs in the simrigs.com DPR entry. Do I see they got a new sponsor on board for this season as well? I do believe so. They've looks like they've gone out there. The Phoenix Smokers DPR entry as well. So I'm assuming they mean the smokers for your meat. Should be good. We'll be around there for a barbecue anytime, boys. Just put the word out and we'll come around and have a good time with you. All right, let's see how he goes in this lap though. Adam Briggs. Between him and Dyson, it's normally a 3rd and a 5th. They normally lock out that part of the grid, but they're looking to improve that this year. I reckon it's going to be a 1 and a 3 or a 2 and a 4. Need to improve. Briggs comes around. Gets through that tricky section, turn number 7, where it's very shallow. Glide the car around here. Can't be too aggressive again. Oh, look at the tyre flexing there as he goes around that left hand. Now it's hard on the brakes. Turn number 11. Over the bumps, you can hear the revs come up slightly. Final corner here. Let's see what time it is. Can he control it as he comes out? Doesn't look too bad as he gets the exit there. I think he's going to be off this one a little bit. We're just waiting to see his time come up. P8, a 1:24.66. Now, how close is this one? And I don't go down to the thousandths of a second on my timing screen, but Dodd, Tixia, and Briggs now are all within 11 thousandths of a second. All within 11 thousandths of a second between 6 and 8. That is super, super close. And it's not too far to Hayne in front. But Dyson, he is a talking point at the moment out in front. Jack Boyd now gets his chance to put a lap down in the Synergy Sim Racing entry. How will he go? This will be his out lap, I do assume, judging by that. So this is just his warm-up lap at the moment. We will have to hurry these cars up. We're pretty keen to get them out there and make sure they get their lap in the qualifying time. Of course, we'll see the single lap qualifier there so we can broadcast this out to everyone for AOSC11 and RaceKraft Simulations over in WA. And here we go. We start the time lap. Jack Boyd, it's his opportunity now. Can he go to P1? Everyone who's been faster than Dyson has not been able to beat him, though. Dyson is sitting up the top of 1:24.06. He is the man to beat at the moment. Jack Boyd, he ended up third fastest in pre-qualifying. Wasn't around last season, did not see him here in AOSC, but he's back. Oh, slides the car out, almost makes contact with the wall. There we go. Normally behind the wheel of a Aussie racing car, but back behind the simulator tonight here for AOSC11. Doing a nice job here. He's 900s down now in Sector 1, so he's got a bit of work to do. 900s, that's quite a lot. And now he's Sector 2 down as well. He's a couple of tenths off the pace. Now, looking at that, a couple of tenths is going to put him back in second and third position category if he can hold on to a good time in sector number 3. But if he keeps losing a tenth every sector, we could see him all the way down in fourth or fifth position. Final corner, let's see how he handles this one as they go out. Yeah, a bit of a wiggle there. He has to try and get the power down. Jordan Ross is already on his flying lap, but let's see how Jack Boyd goes. And Boyd will go up there. Second position there, a 1:24.19. So P2. Now, Jordan Ross, he is come out flying. And look at the purple sector in sector number 1. So fastest in sector number 1, sector number 2. Sector number 2, he's lost a little bit of time there. Don't know if maybe he got a bit of wheel spin there, slid the car out. Was the final sector is where it's going to come down to. Now, Jack Boyd brought it home. He was almost 3 tenths down and managed to get only 1500s behind. Dyson there slides it out to the wall, though. Jordan Ross comes across the finish line. Let's see where he is. Green times goes P3, a 1:24.22. So he's not too far off. He's only 400s off of Jack Boyd there. So I'll put him in P3, Jordan Ross. And he was the second fastest only in pre-qualifying. So Andrew Dyson at the moment, super impressive. Went out for the single lap shootout qualifying style, and he manages to lay a time down of a 1:24.06, and Will Shepherd beat it. The young gun, the man who came second in AOSC 10. He was the man who took it to our leader, James Scott, last season. He was the only man to take it to him at almost every race. He had the pace to keep up with him. James Scott, though, just seemed to have the racecraft to be able to hold him out and keep him at bay. Is it Corey Shepherd's year? Can he get a bit of a step up there for James Scott? If Corey Shepherd can get a win tonight, he's going to be looking for it. The Mr. Antenna Mustang, part of the Pursuit Racing, the Premier Racing team. There we go. Purple Sector 1 shows how fast this young gun can be. He's only a young man. Not old enough to go clubbing yet, but he's doing fantastic things in the sim racing world, and hopefully we will see him behind the wheel of a real race car in the future, because super talented. Purple sector number 2. You think he's going for P1 here after qualifying. He's got to beat Andrew Dyson's 1:24.06. Goes around turn number 11, heads down to the final corner. Yes, controls the wheel spin out of that one. Fourth gear. Just gets it on the rev limiter. Final corner. Keeps control of it too, doesn't slide the car out too much. Let's see how he goes here. 124.057's time to beat. Goes to P1, 123, the only one in the 123s, 0.78. And Corey Shepherd and the Mr. Antenna Mustang, all thanks to Premier Racing Team, will go in the number 1 position on row 1 to start off tonight's race. 43 laps here of Chicago, round number 2 of the Jinx Shifters AOSC 11. All thanks to RaceKraft Simulations also in Western Australia. So the Mr. Antenna Mustang will be put in P number 1, Corey Shepherd, the young gun, and hopefully he can get himself a win tonight. He has the most amount of second positions behind James Scott last season, but tonight is his night to get a win, I do believe, here in round number 2. All thanks to our sponsors, of course, Jinx Shifters, RaceKraft Simulations, Simrigs.com, Race Circuit Art Australia, AJ Insurance Services, Acuta Solutions, Track Camps for Gourmets, and of course, to our team over there in the USA from New York, Team 126 Racing, who are sharing this around tonight and making sure we are broadcast over in the United States. So it's fantastic to have them on board, and it's good to see that we've got everything happening over there, and they want to be part of this as well. So fantastic to have all of those sponsors on board here for the Jinx Shifters AOSC 11. Of course, it's race 193 in the history of the AOSC, and tonight it is Chicago, a brand new track. We have not been here before. So we haven't got any previous winners, which is going to be very interesting tonight. We've got two compulsory pit stops here tonight. We've got 1 fast repair. Now, remembering though that with all the concrete walls and the damage turned on, a fast repair up your sleeve could be very, very handy at any point of the race. 3.44 kilometres, 12 turns to get around. We're looking at around about 3 litres a lap. And that means you can get 38 laps to a tank. So technically they could come in for 1 stop to make this happen, but that's not what we want. We want to see him go. We want to see him to do everything, and we are making it 2 compulsory pit stops because we want to see a little bit of racecraft when it comes into it, to see how these drivers and teams put their strategies together and how that can work for them to see if they can take the win here tonight. So let's hope that Corey Shepherd can pull that together. He's got some good teammates around him as well. Andrew Dyson in 2nd position there, qualified number 2, will be alongside him. Jack Boyd was another one, did fantastic tonight there in P3. Jordan Ross in P4. Brian Borg back in position number 5. Bailey Frid in 6th. Adam Hayne in 7th. Todd Hayne in 8th. Aaron Dodd in 10th. Then we go back to Sebastian Tixia in, Adam Dodd in 9th. Sebastian Tixia in 10th position. 11th was Adam Briggs. Now, he just did not have a great qualifying run on that one, unfortunately for him, but so he got pushed back a little bit. But as we have a look at our qualifying up there now and how they are going to start on the grid, like we said, Corey Shepherd and Andrew Dyson alongside each other in row number 1. Row number 2 will be Jack Boyd and Jordan Ross. Row 3 will be Brian Borg, Bailey Frid. Row 4, Adam Hayne and Todd Hayne. Row 5, Aaron Dodd, Sebastian Tixia. And row 6 will be Adam Briggs, Ken Latta. Brenton Hobson and Thomas Hinds will fill out row number 7. Row 8 will be Glenn Postlethwaite and Rick Kuznetsov. And then we go back to row 9, Rob Bowden, Steve Kokoschke. Row 10, Brenton Nitschke and Craig Anspach in the Tank SRT entry. Sean Lindsell and Anthony Jewell in row number 11. Row number 12 will be Jeremy Maxwell and Harry Dodds. Then we go back to Jamie Dyke and the Fishy Motorsport entry with Wade Sheedy alongside in row number 13. Damien Johnson and Roderick Hollis will be in row 14. Row 15 will be Kyle Stokes and Justin Clayton. Then we go back to row 16, Christian Smart and Michael Taliancic all the way back down there. Now, I reckon he made contact and null and void his lap. Andrew Gilliam all the way back there in 33 with Tom Free alongside, who we saw on his single lap shootout qualifier that he made contact with the wall, and it's all over from there. Then it's Greg Sharp and Sebastian Flock at the back to round it out there. Still got a couple more to go. Scott Bardajan is in row, obviously they're in row number 19 with Alex Zani alongside, who was one of our biggest movers there. Anthony Yisma in the last spot there in 39, so on the final row, row number 20. So we'll see if they can come through. Alex Zani was one of our winners last week, one of the ones voted for us from for most impressive. Best on track, he was number 3, Alex Zani. So from RaceKraft, obviously, yeah, sponsored by RaceKraft Simulations over there in WA. So let's see how he goes tonight. Corey Shepherd, though, we're looking for his first win for season number 11. He did get one last year, but he'll be looking for one to kick off this one in round number 2. What a way to start of the season. It wasn't what it was meant to be there at round number 1, unfortunately, but we're waiting for the lights. They're coming up. Revs are up, you can hear in the background. Nice start, bit of tyre smoke in the background. Everyone's battling to get through. It's going to be interesting. Oh, a bit of bump and grind there with Shepherd. Shepherd and Dyson on. Who's got round there? Jack Boyd, what a start. We got sideways there as they come in. Is that the number 95, I think? I don't know, but we're going to see him banked up here. There's a big incident here to start the race. Turn number 1. Dan, did you see what happened there?
Yeah, plenty of guys involved in it in the midfield there. We saw Harry Dodds involved in it. He's dropped a huge packet of spots. Brian Borg's dropped a long way down the field as well. See the damage on the front of that car. Also noticed a couple of guys jumped straight into the lane when the lights went green. We saw Gilliam and Michael Talienchich both transit the lane to try and avoid all that opening shenanigans. And it looks like they're all going again as they come down into 4 and 5.
We spoke about this with the walls, didn't we? Like, it's very easy to come unstuck here. Cold tyres going to be very loose. Now, those guys that took the pit lane, what a strategy. You've got to go twice. We've made that because we want to see the pit stop strategy, not because they need to pit twice. They've got the fuel and tyres. They only need to go in once. So by doing that pit stop at the start, does that mean they've taken one of their compulsory pit stops, which means takes them out of this fight, also gets one of those run and done?
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy to try and employ here. We're going to have a look back at the restart, and you can see those two cars just diving straight in for the lane here, and this is where everyone gets away, 4 wide at some sections. Down into the front there, we missed the shot of Brian Borg getting rotated around, focused a little bit further in the pack, but geez, everyone just went cannonballing in there, and you see the aftermath of all the cars getting put into the wall.
Yeah, that is carnage on lap number 1. Now, everyone has one fast repair, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to use that up very early in this race. Like, I think there's going to be a few steering wheels that are sideways already at the moment, so a few people are going to have to use those. I reckon that's Glenn Postlethwaite that gets involved in the 95 as well early on, and he's sideways, and there's nowhere to go at this point in turn number 1, really.
No, it's a bit hard for a lot of these guys. Some of the guys in the backfield did very well to try and avoid that, get the cars slowed enough to get through it all, but some big incidents. You see the guys just trying to work their way out the back there. That was Sean Linsell involved in that, Damien Johnson involved in it as well, so you know, some very top cars as a result.
I tell you what, we've got to talk about Jack Boyd though. What an amazing start from him. I mean, Corey Shepherd had to be defensive. He had to move over to the left and try and hold out Dyson, who they both started on the front row. Jack Boyd was on the second row. He drove around them on turn 1 and has taken the lead, and he's run away with this one at the moment. He's got a nice little lead, a couple of tenths of a second.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all going to sort of go away here as we get back into it. Actually, we haven't had this, or the safety car is out on circuit. So that gap will shrink now, and we'll see everyone restart as they come back into position here. But yeah, great jump to get that car up those 2 spots, and you know, just goes to show the talent that the guys have got as everyone now dives in the lane to try and take advantage of that first stop there.
Yeah, the Acuta Solutions Jinx Shifters safety car is out on track at the moment. Of course, Acuta Solutions provides state-of-the-art equipment and telecommunications, utilities and construction sectors. So if you're doing any rigging, any high access, anything like that, ladders, safety gear, all those sorts of stuff, make sure you go and see Acuta Solutions. Exactly how it sounds, ACUTA Solutions. Check them out on the web, on Facebook. They're all there, and fantastic to have them on for season number 11 here of the AOSC. But of course, Jinx Shifters are back on board again, and we know our safety car is using the Jinx Shifter on board. Fantastic bit of work there, the billet shifters. And I do notice if you check out his social media pages, he's starting to put electronic shifters into real life cars as well now, where they've got the electronic shifting support there. So you've got the sequential style shifter, but it's sending the signal down to the electronic gearbox. So very interesting to see that sort of stuff go into the cars nowadays, and a great product that he puts out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an awesome looking piece of kit, and I mean, nothing probably really comes close to it on the Australian market at the moment, and to see it getting a run in real life scenarios is absolutely fantastic. I know from the guys that have used it, we've seen James Scott managed to pick himself one up a couple of seasons ago. They speak very, very highly of how good they are, and you throw on the ARB options that they've got as well, and I mean, you've got a full set of awesome bit of kit.
Well, this is going to bring everyone back together, but Jack Boyd got the jump now. He doesn't have to worry about getting past Corey Shepherd and Dyson. They've gone into the pits too, so they've decided to take their early pit stop. That's another interesting factor. So they, you know, we're going to have to watch the restart on this one. I mean, what do you do when you've got 2 pit stops to have here? You take it now behind the safety car. What's the chance now we've got a single file restart of having that same sort of incident, do you think, when we have the restart on this one, Dan?
Look, it's a pretty high scenario again. I guess a little bit simpler in the fact we're not too wide coming off a standing start. So depending on how your run is out of the final corner there, you should see a little bit of a gap open up, but it is going to make it a little bit smoother to watch everyone work their way through. The challenge will come down into the middle portion of the lap where we go through 4 and 5, where it's a really short little chute there where we saw some incidents with the second part of that incident, and then right down into this spot here as we're watching the guys filter their way through. Very, very tight confines. We saw that in the qualifying before, the guys just running a little wide, hitting that wall, and there's every chance that could happen again. And with the field, in this sort of scenario again, we could see another big incident as a result.
Now, I've got to talk about this. In previous season, season number 10, Michael Talancic had some horror qualifying sessions, and he's had it again today. But he's always made a lot of positions, hasn't he? We always talk about how many positions he makes up throughout the race. Now, get this. What have we done? How many laps have we done on the safety car now? One complete lap, one and a bit?
Yeah,
Alex Zani from Team RaceKraft Motorsport is up 30 positions. He started out of position 38. He is in position 8 right now.
Hasn't pitted though, so that's a little bit artificially inflated, but he has come through and got in. The other big one, Talancic and Gilliam, we saw those guys on the opening lap dive straight in for the lane the minute the lights went green, 18th and 16th respectively up the order. So that's a pretty hefty net gain for both of those guys.
And that's a more realistic net gain for them too, isn't it? Because that puts them back in the field. I mean, take a few guys who haven't pitted. Well, pretty much everyone in front of them is pitted up to... I'm just having a look here. Steve Kokoschki's gone in as well. So, yeah, so they've got in really, really early. I'm just checking that one there. But they've got in front of Corey Shep and Andrew Dyson in the pit. So you're right. Probably the top 8 there are indicative. They have not had one pit stop. There are 2 compulsory pit stops. So although everyone else... Well, they could probably get home from here. So from now on, it's really just the compulsory pit stop for Corey Shep, and that isn't, because they'll be conserving fuel right now. They won't need to take fuel on the next pit stop if they don't want to. But they may just put a splash and dash if they want to stay light, depending on how they got their car set up. But basically, everyone who's pitted just has to technically go through now.
Yeah, the big thing will come down later on into the stint, the tyre life, and we'd expect everyone to throw a fresh set of boots on it when they do come back down the lane. So keep an eye on that one. The big one that's going to be a really tricky run coming back up through the field. Both Briggs and Borg are buried in the field at the moment, down in 22nd, 23rd position. So those guys have got a lot of work to try and navigate their way back through this pack as well.
It'd be interesting to see if they've grabbed their fast repairs as well, because quite a lot of damage sustained to some of those cars down the back of the field and in the mid-pack. So Borgie's got a lot of work to do, won't be happy about. Briggs is also down there with him. Craig Anspatch is in there. Tom Frere's had a good move there. Now, he's been in the pits as well, and then we said that did not have his qualifying lap that he wanted, but we know when it comes to pit stop strategy, if the safety car falls in the right position for him, he'll do quite well as the race gets back underway here, and Jack Boyd will lead us away. Jack Boyd leads us away now. He has not pitted though, although he is in front of this one, and we're just looking in the background to see if there's any carnage happening, because Steve Kokoschki has crashed. Kokoschki has had an off. There we go. You can see that come on our event screen there. So something's happening to him as well in the background there. Lots of passing happening though in the background. It's Kokoschki just getting past, so he's going to go down the field. And we said he actually showed up as having a pit stop there and was in front of a couple of big names, and we wondered how that would happen, but it looks like he is going to get moved back down the pack there. You can see Corey Shepard down the background as well. Now here's a bit of a replay of what happened to Kokoschki a little bit earlier, or in the restart of this after the safety car. Just watching this come round. Just grabs a little bit of inside wall. You can see the damage there, can't you, on the rear, Dan?
Yeah, he just picked it up both the front and the rear corner, and around he went. Fortunate didn't collect his teammate as a result of it, but yeah, that put him a long way down the field, second to last out on circuit now.
Well, Jack Boyd in clean air. He needs to run away now with this. He needs to get away from the traffic. He needs to put some time between him and Corey Shepard or the rest of the field, and he needs to make sure that he can get a pit stop done, because by not coming in with that pit stop with everyone else, that may have hurt him in the strategy-wise when it comes to this race. Depending on what happens with the safety cars, he may be able to make that back, but look at him streak away. That last lap, a 1:24.66. Closest to him was Sebastian Tixier in P2 with a 1:25. As you can just hear in the background, a little bit of contact made on that turn again on the inside. So everyone just pushing and just collecting. Oh, Shepard with a big move under brakes. No, it goes wide. Luckily, he bounces out of that tyre wall. Does he get stuck there? Oh, I thought he might have gone back a bit far there. He would not be happy under brakes. And Dan, this is the problem with the street circuit, isn't it? Not a lot of traction on the front. And I noticed by doing a few laps here, quite a bit of understeer.
Yeah, definitely. And not a move that he really needed to make that early on. Just bring the tyres up to temperature, get the position where he needed. And that's dropped him well down the ordinaries, right behind, or down past Glenn Postlethwaite. So down in 24th position as a result of that. So that's going to make a very, very tough night for him. Makes the guys up the front night a little bit easier as they have to work their way through. As we have a look here at Tom Freer working his way through, Briggsy right behind after getting caught up in that earlier lap 1 incident. These guys well down the order as well, down 17th and 18th position. Craig Anspach also chiming into this little fight as well.
Well, Tom Freer's done really well on the restart of this one, and you can see right in front of him, he's got Rick Kuznetsov, so he's going to be hard to get by. He was pretty impressive in the last couple of races. We did see him in AOSC 10 in the last season, so very quick person to contend with for Tom Freer, and Adam Briggs behind him, who'll be putting the pressure on in the Sim Rigs entry as well, DPR entry. So we'll see how that little battle ends up as we have a look at Mr. Dodd there, Aaron Dodd, the 9.5 Sim Sport entry. Looks like the top two have just gone away. Jack Boyd and Sebastian Tixia, they have opened up a nice little gap. You can see them out there in the distance. They are leading away at the moment. So Aaron Dodd leading the pack in position number 3 now, and they are lined up behind him. Adam Hayne, Todd Hayne, Ken Latta, Thomas Hinds. Alex Zani is still up those 30 positions, but he has not had a pit stop. So how many positions will he lose? We can see Kuznetsov there on the outside. Freer, and oh no, going in behind him. It looks like Briggs is going to have a go too. Briggs and Freer go through because Kuznetsov will have to get back in, tries to pull back in front of him. Is that Rob Boat? No, Craig Anspach.
Yeah, nice
what
move
a move there.
That was a great move. Nice to follow through. Good awareness too from for the guys there, just to keep an eye on who's coming through. As we see Talyancic now getting a move put on him by Rob Bowden. Can he return the serve down into this little tight turn 6 here? And looks like Bowden just going to get the nose in front there. There's not a lot of room for these guys. Very unique portion of the road where the runoff area is on the inside of the corner, not traditionally on the outside as we've come to expect at circuits like Long Beach.
You do not want to be, if you're too wide on that, you do not want to be on the outside. There is tyres on the outside and there is no room. One mistake from the inside car and you are gone. You are put in that wall. So very hard to go around turn number 7, and you want to stick that move. Here we go, you can see it in the background there, a few cars moving around. It looks like Brenton Hobson looking for a way through in the number 88 in the background there. You can just see the white DPR car. But it's Dodd, Hayne, Adam Hayne, Todd Hayne that is. Adam's in the front.
Well, I've got to say, for both the Haynes boys there for Taipan Esports, this is a great run for them. Not only was it a solid qualifying effort that they earned on their own merit, they're able to hold position here at the front of the field and gain a few spots along the way. So both the Taipan cars, new liveries on these cars revealed earlier during the week here, look pretty bloody good out there, and they're putting on a nice run tonight.
And just watch out behind Thomas Hinds. Now, you know, we spoke to him last season, and one of the things for him was that he just needed to try and improve on his qualifying, because he's very handy when it comes to racing. He's probably not out there at the front of the pack because he's got a battle from somewhere between 15th and 10th, normally where he ends up in qualifying. He has to always put on a little bit of a battle there, but very reliable driver he is, and he'll just keep doing those laps, stays cool and calm and collected and gets it done. And he is now up to 6th position and put himself in good stead there. Unfortunately, he has not done a pit stop, which could be an issue. Brian Borg, I think, might have had a crash in the background too. Can see that come up on my screen too. So I hope that is not right, because Borg, the last thing he needs is another incident tonight, because he's already been hurt from the start. He's back in, just trying to see where he's gone up to 19th position there.
Yeah, not what he needs. We're going to have a look at a little bit further back. Jordan Ross involved in a big incident. There's a few guys involved in that one as well, and plenty of guys trying to use the runoff road to avoid it. Or who was involved in that? We had the PSR cars in there. Borg just manages to squeak his way through. That might have been that little bit of contact that you were just referring to there, Matty, as well.
Well, I got the minor part, didn't I, that I saw, but there was some major incident there. And is that Jordan Ross? Look how much is missing off his car. He's just trying to steer it around. So they go around that little bust-up area up to turn number 10. He's got really nowhere to go. There's not much room on the outside. I don't know what happens here. Oh, that was it. Oh, Smart has gone straight in. That is unfortunate for him there. And who was that in front of him? Is that Fred? That was Gilliam. Was it Gilliam? Was it Fred? I don't know. I don't know who that was. Yeah, it was Andrew Gilliam, the 201. Yeah, so you just see him go out and reset a bit. So, yeah, look, and this is the thing with the street circuit and being so tight, especially around turn 7 and turn 11, is that if one car comes unstuck on their own, there's nowhere for any car behind them to go, and there's not a lot of time for you to make that decision on what you're going to do. You come around a concrete wall and there's a car sideways in front of you.
Well, yeah, unlike Long Beach, and I'm going to keep referring back to Long Beach a lot. Unlike that, in a lot of these big braking corners, you've got runoff in front of you. Here, the way the circuit's laid out, you have absolutely minimal, as we see Haynes having a moment there. He's got into contact and a change of position between both the team cars there, but you just don't have the runoff capacity that you do at some of the other street circuits we've been to, and that's starting to really cause some headache for a lot of these guys as they work their way through.
Yeah, Thomas Hinds unfortunately can't take advantage of that one. Kenneth Latta too in that mix just behind the Haynes as well, and he couldn't make a move that time either, so he'll just not quite close enough and probably playing it a little bit safe when you see the car in front of you start to nudge the wall and then come back across track. You just never know how it's going to end really, as it looks like they come down to turn number 6 here, the left-hander. They slot it in, but it's turn number 7 that always worries me as we head back down to Maxwell. It's Jeremy Maxwell in the Usher Group car. Number 79, and just in front of him you can see Justin Clayton a little bit sideways, pushing on. He's got no boot, he's got no downforce, it is gone. He has some damage on that car on the 120. Go back to Anthony Visma, and Kyle Stokes now up 3 positions in position number 26 in the 888 entry there, and he was involved in that before. We've seen him in all that contact, and the car looking a little bit worse for wear, missing no downforce in the back of that one either. The boot has gone, there's no wing. Did he grab a little bit of wall on the inside there? I don't know.
I think he might have just squeaked through. I was just keeping an eye on a little fight just behind these two with Roderick Hollis and Anthony Gill. Gill just pulled the nose out at the very last minute there as nearly made contact into turn 5. So good job for him just to be aware and not catch up with the guy in front. As we go a little further up here though, Brenton Hobson on Alex Zanny, and he's going to bring Andrew Dyson along for the run as well as they work their way down the front straight.
Yep. Well, Zanny is actually going back a couple of positions there. He's fighting, and there's a nice little dogfight going on here now. Brenton Hobson looks like he's going to get that done, and he does bring through Dyson with him too. And Zanny will have to just relinquish that position there at the moment from the Team RaceKraft Motorsport entry. He has not done his pit stop yet, where Hobson and Dyson have. So at the moment, looking at my screen, and you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong here, Dan, is that these two are the leading cars that have completed one pit stop.
Yes, correct. However, well down the order, we've already got a couple of guys that are starting to knock over their second stop early on tonight. Bailey Frid is the first of those that have done that. Now, he's down in 28th position, a long way off the lead at the moment. But if we get another safety car or we see everyone come in, as we just see a little bit of a moment there for the guys working their way through, that'll push him back up through the order.
Another one I see, and you're going to have to... I'm just having a look here. Did I see Jordan Ross's name come up with 2 next to it as well? So there's a few of them there playing that game. Now, Boyd, he has stayed out in front, and don't get me wrong, he has put a gap out there of 5.8 seconds. It's almost out to, but no pit stop yet. Not one pit stop. Now, he's going to lose way more than that when he comes in. So, and he's still got 2 pit stops to do. So those guys that have rolled the dice, come in for their second pit stop, are onto it. Brenton Hobson now in for his second pit stop, gets it done. Lap number 12 nice and early. Now, you spoke about tyre degradation before, Dan. Early pit stop, you're going to have to hold on to those tyres now. And you know, he's got to do that now for 30 laps.
Well, yeah, that's a tough ask out there. Fortunately, the track not that hot as we see up on screen at the moment. It's 33 degrees out on track. So it's going to be okay for them. They're in sort of mid-afternoon here at the moment, so it's only going to get cooler, which is good. The biggest issue, and obviously for everyone who's super familiar with iRacing, whether it's supercars or any of the other content out there, the minute you start locking tyres, you're going to wear them out a lot more. And you know, we're only on lap 12 here. We've still got a long way to go to try and get these cars home. So maintaining the appropriate brake pressure into these big stop zones is going to be key to getting them home.
I suppose that once you get that muscle memory going and you get in the rhythm of it, it's probably safer to stay out on a course like this and just adjust your driving slightly each lap as you feel the car get away from you, the tyres get away from you, rather than halfway through put in those fresh tyres and it changes the dynamic of the car, because you can see a bit more contact made there again. As it looks like Fred and Stokes all there in that, still locked into that battle with Visma right behind in the number 7. But I tell you what, Kyle Stokes, I hope he hasn't used a fast repair already. That's what I'm worried about, because he has already had a pit stop and he was down the back section there as he locks the brakes up there. See the big wiggle? Oh no, big dive here. A wiggle under brakes. Oh, Briggs makes it through. Kokoschki on the outside.
That was tight, and keep an eye here. Gilliam's going to try and thread the needle around the outside of 9 as well.
Wow.
And Kokoschki just clipped that inside wall, and that spat him across. He's fortunate he didn't get Gilliam in the process as well.
Yeah, that was very lucky for Gilliam, because it has not been the night that he would normally want to see either, and he has only had one pit stop. He is right down the back, so definitely the cars unsettled around on this street circuit here in Chicago. Race number 2 of the Jinx Shifters AOSC11, where it's a second season of the year for 2021, and we are well and truly underway, all thanks to Jinx Shifters and of course RaceKraft Simulations. And a shout out to our American friends over there in New York, of course Team 126 Racing. Fantastic that they've got involved in sim racing over the COVID period and got right into it, and teamed up with us to help get this broadcast spread all over the United States as well. And big shout out to them, of course. The India Dirt Racing, they do come from the old 360 sprint car styles racings, where they started out before they got into the bike road racing. So yeah, we do love our Speedway fans as well, plenty of that on iRacing as well. But tonight it is AOSC, and we are here at Chicago. Supercars, which are a handful to get around. When you get out of a GT3 car and then you try and get behind the wheel of one of these supercars, not the same. No traction control. They're heavy. They got a fair bit of body roll on them too. They're unsettled under brakes. And I tell you what, you're driving one of these when you start to turn the force feed back up on the steering wheel.
Yeah, definitely. And this circuit just exaggerates that more as you watch the guys down into one. You can just see the bumps that the cars are having to endure and get through. But a lot of these guys have got the car set up not too bad, navigating the corners very well. As you watch Brenton Hobson here, we saw him come down the lane to get his second stop. Completed only a couple of laps ago, and in the background a little bit of a slide for the guys getting out of turn 2 there. But the Synergy car is looking very nice around this circuit. It's riding the bumps very, very nicely, get the nose in, and just using all the circuit there is a little bit of moment there for Harry Dodd.
Interestingly enough, we talk about team strategy. Brenton Hobson leading that strategy at the moment, Synergy Sim Racing. He has done 2 pit stops back down there in position number 18. Now, go down a little bit further. Who are the other 2 cars that are next that have done 2 pit stops? Well, actually, they're not next, but who are they a bit further down? Synergy Sim Racing. Tom Freer and Jordan Ross in 29 and 30. They have done 2. There's a couple in between him, obviously, and Hobson, but the Synergy Sim Racing teams have showed their cards early. They've had a bit of damage, and they obviously knew that if they were going to get stuck, they were going to take early pit stops. Here we go. Corey Shepherd now moving his way through the pack, and now up to position at number 9. He's got Bowden in front, Zani, Dyson, Hins, Hayne, Tixier and Boyd still leading this one, but Shepherd's 26 seconds back. Just going to have a look. We're looking at, like pit lane time. We're probably looking on a short pit stop about 26 seconds. So if Boyd was to get in now, it'd be very interesting to see if he came out alongside Shepherd, if he just put a dash of fuel in and some tyres. But they are still going to have to come in for that second pit stop. But there are a number of people who have not taken one pit stop yet. One of those is Jack Boyd, who is leading us. Sebastian Tixier out there has not had one. Todd Hayne and Adam Hayne have not come in either. Thomas Hins is also on that same pit stop strategy. They are running this out and probably looking to see if maybe a safety car will come through or something, and trying to get as much of a lead as possible. As you can see, some of the damage on the cars getting around at the moment. Under brakes here though, puts the nose in. It's wide on the exit there, and that's turn number 5. There's plenty of room to try and make that move on that one, luckily enough. So that's that looks like that's Glenn Postlethwaite in the background trying to get that move done on Roderick Hollis, and he will get it done here as he dives under. Will we get the crisscross though? Looking for the crisscross here though for Hollis. Hollis can't get it done. Looks like Postlethwaite will hold on to that position and get to do it. And then you see the Hayne train, they pull in. Adam and his brother Todd Hayne will pull in the pits and get their first pit stop done. Where will they come out? They're dropping down the order. That's what we spoke about. They've not had their pit stop yet. Postlethwaite now looks like he's put a bit of a gap now back to Roderick Hollis in the Frog Leap Racing team, the 177. So he is pushing forward and looking at the final times. Last time was the 126 for Postlethwaite to Hollis's 127. So now he's got past, he is going to start pushing on. We head back to Craig Ansbach in P number 12 there, and he's under attack at the moment. Todd Hayne is out of the pits and pushing on fresh tyres. He's going to have to bring him up to temperature though. The brakes, what can he do under brakes here? pulls it in, gets it done, but it's hard braking now through turn number 5. And he's got that done. I think you'll find Craig Anspach really struggling without that rear spoiler on the car. So without having that rear spoiler and that rear downforce, that is hurting him at the moment. As Jordan Rostow on the inside here of Postlethwaite, Roderick Hollis, and he gets that one done nice and easy too in a good section of the track.
Yeah.
Borg, he locks up a wheel, sorry.
I was going to say, it's going to be the preferred spot to slip one down the inside there and move on through. Borg, though, who coming back up after that earlier incident, he's got the car all crossed up. It's a little bit tricky for him at the moment as works his way through, and he's going to have to be careful. Although he's got his teammate Wade Sheedy in behind, Aaron Dodds will probably close in as these two get into their own little scrap there if they're not careful.
Yeah, well, teammate in front as well, Rick Kuznetsov, but a fair bit of air to him. There's a fair bit of gap. Now, Borgie, you got to remember, has been pushing hard. Early pit stop for him, so he came in quite early with that damage, and he is pushing on. So there might be a fair bit of tyre wear on that one, considering how hard he's had to drive. Looks like some burnouts in the background, just in the pit lane, but smoke there, maybe some lock over the brakes. But yeah, he's going to have to watch out. Wade Sheedy behind him, which will sort of shield him from Aaron Dodd at the moment, the 9.5 Sim Sport entry, and the 737 behind him. But watch out, because behind them is Todd Hayne and the Taipan Esports entry, fresh tyres on too, and charging forward after his first pit stop. Now, Purple set the time there for Todd Hayne in sector number 1-2. So he is fast at the moment, fresh tyres, fueled up and ready to race.
Yeah, he's moving on a bit of a move here. We're right on board with him and see what's going on. You can see Aaron Dodd just trying to move and position Sheedy a little bit wide. We'll see whether he's able to slip this one down the inside and get the crisscross up over the hill there. But for Haynes is right on board. You've just got to position the car, let the two in front make that little mistake, and just slide up the inside there if you can. And you're going to see the pressure really start to be applied here as they work their way up through 7, up over this crest. This is where we saw a couple of guys have some issues earlier on. It's a long 180-degree sweeping corner before you drop down into 10 and 11 here, where it's very, very tight again. And these guys are looking very, very comfortable. Just interesting to see with Todd there, not really getting the wheel spin that we're seeing from the guys in front as he just gradually applies some throttle pressure.
He's going to have to be careful though, stuck in this. Oh, here he goes. There's going to be a move there. Something goes wrong for Sheedy. They both go wide. Him and Aaron Dodd, they make contact now. They've got to be defensive. They try and cover him. Oh no, contact made again. Hayne, a little slight brush of the wall, and behind him, look at that. They're all lined up ladder. Adam Hayne, his brother as well. They're all trying to push through, because why they're stuck behind him, their cars are getting hot and their tyres are getting hot, and they're starting to hurt the tyres. So they need to get past these guys who aren't on fresh tyres, are a little bit slower. They definitely do not have the lap times there. And here you go, the move done. Todd Haynes going to make the stick. He's going to force that one there. Kenneth Ladder's going to have to be the next one to do it. And I tell you what, behind him, Aaron Hayne needs to get right behind him and push through as a team, I do believe. Even though they're not a team, they need to work together here to get through some of the slower cars, because it is going to hurt them in the long run. Wade Sheedy's not going to let Todd Hayne through easily either, but Todd Hayne needs to push on here and needs to get this done, get out some clean air and try and cool those tyres down a bit and get some fresh air into that car.
Absolutely, and while we're seeing all these guys continue to lock horns and get their moves done and dusted, Brian Borg's been the big beneficiary of that. He's been able to skip away from this little group, and we saw him only a lap or two ago just really fall into the clutches here. He's now got that second little bit of a reprieve. Have a look at the back here. Ken Ladder trying to get the move down on Dodd, and Haynes going to try and follow him through as well. We've already seen a few of those moves where the guy preceding just slips one down the inside as well and follows suit. And if he's able to do it, he's going to be in with a good shot. I just see Dodd there, again, just exciting those rear tyres. This might be the move just ahead, though, where Sheedy's going to fall behind these guys.
Yeah, well, look at Hayne there. He's just got the speed on the outside. You've got to be careful, though, because if you end up now, so Wildsy slides the car out, but he's on the inside run here. Does a nice job to hold him out. Gets past Sheedy too, so he can start to move on and try and catch up to Brian Borg, because I don't think Sheedy's going to have the traction he is going to need to try and stay with him. And Aaron Dodd, they're still fighting this out and really holding up the guys behind. It looks like he's going to get this move done. Dodd's going to follow through in the 9.5 Sim Sport entry, and he gets past Sheedy now. So Sheedy obviously on some degraded tyres there. That's hurting him. He's slower than the rest of them. And I dare say he's going to see Ladder and Hayne go through. Is this a point now, though, where Sheedy goes, look, might be time to take my second pit stop? I mean, it's halfway through the race. You take the risk and try and get it home in those tyres, because we can already see the advantage to the guys on the fresh tyres versus the guys who are not. And this might be the strategy they got. Jack Boyd is still out in front, still extending his lead out to 14.3 seconds. Is that the plan on the second half of this race, is come home on fresh tyres? So if he goes in slow, who's that in the background?
That was Haynes, sorry.
Is that Todd Hayne or is that Adam Hayne? That is Adam Hayne. That's Adam Hayne, his brother. So a bit further back too, he was behind, obviously, Kenneth Latta. So he's only gone back in position there that time. That is very lucky for him. But these guys at the front now, I know they've still got to come in and pit, and other guys haven't, but some of the other guys have pitted twice. Oh, contact made here. The Fishy Motorsports getting turned around there, and just trying to see who that is. Jamie Dyke, is it, in the background?
Kyle Stokes and Alex Zenny involved in that one as well, and Zenny, big beneficiary, he's able to get through there. Stokes sort of stuck in the middle. So we have a look back here, how this one unfolds on board as they go up through 9. See the run here with Stokes. He's in a good spot here, and then we just see the Fishy Motorsports car make a little bit of a bobble on the run in, a little wide there, hits the wall. Stokes gets the run up the inside. Then I think a little bit of a helping hand there from Zenny in the background just to rotate those guys through.
Yeah, so the Team RaceKraft Motorsports, Zenny, he's in 19th position again. So he's big start there after starting down the back of the field there. He has moved up 19 positions. But this guy here, he's had more second positions in Season 10 than anyone, I think, in the history of AOSC. But he is pushing forward in P5 now, but remembering that he has pit stopped. He has done a pit stop. The only person in front of him who's had a pit stop is actually Andrew Dyson, who was super fast in qualifying as well. So he does have the speed to catch up to him, but we'll have to see what happens as Jack Boyd comes in, Thomas Hinds in the pits as well. So the guys who are out in front are now in the pits, and you can see Corey Shebb will go past, and it looks like they will get the move done on them this time. Sebastian Tixia still has not taken a pit stop. He is out in front of him, and Andrew Dyson taking us out in position number 1 now. And check him out sliding around as they get on the brakes there. This can't be good for the tyres of Kenneth Latta, being stuck behind Wade Sheedy. He needs to make this move, and looks like he's going to make it happen on this turn. Gets down there, Sheedy's not going to be able to put up a fight with those tyres. There is not enough traction left, you can see that. Latta drives away, and Sheedy just slides the car around. Brenton Hobson and Adam Hayne now are going to be looking to do the exact same move. Michael Taliantich now is back in position 27 with Adam Briggs behind him. Now Briggs came to strife earlier in the race, and he is down 17 positions in the DPR entry, all thanks to simrigs.com. And now we see that move. Hobson's made the move again. Now he is the first of the cars on 2 pit stops and leading the Synergy Sim Racing team. Now on the outside of Sheedy, can he do it? He's going to be on the inside run here, and it is a narrow corner in turn number 7. Very, very narrow. Sheedy's going to have to be careful here. You know, when he gets stuck, it's 2 right-handers. Nice run there too. He manages to make that stick too for Hobson, because his tyres too, having done 2 pit stops, he has to bring this car home now. Now, how do you manage that, Dan? I mean, a lot of laps, it's doable, but come the end of this race, how much pace is he really going to have?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one to think. I mean, we saw the guys come in pretty early on. He came in lap 11, so we've only got 3 more laps on it, 10 laps on the tyres at this point in time. So they're going to be crying out for a bit of a reprieve at the end of this race. But if he can just find the marks, pick the spots where he needs to get through, as we just saw there, just puts the car nicely down the inside, doesn't need to push the position too hard, just fire it through with the little bit of pace you got. He should be in a good position at the later half of the race. We're watching back here at Adam Haynes, trying to get the move done off the back of Wade Sheedy here, and you know, we're already seeing it. Sheedy really starting to struggle a huge amount on those tyres there compared to the guys around him.
Now, we spoke about Jack Boyd holding out for so long. We're like, what is Jack Boyd doing? He has not had a pit stop. But he has actually come out in front of Corey Shepard, and he's got back over Tixia, and now he is in 2nd position. So Jack Boyd and all that pit stop, Andrew Dyson is the only one who's got back out in front of him. But remembering now, Boyd is on fresh tyres. So they will be up to temperature. He will be chasing Dyson down. It is 10 seconds. He's already... Be interested to see once he gets under. I think he's really only completed 1 lap. Now, on the last lap was his out lap. So I'll be interested to see once we come around and complete this lap, what are the time differences between Andrew Dyson and Jack Boyd? And remembering that Dyson's got to come in for his 2nd, so does Boyd, but Boyd's going to have... He's done 20 laps on 1 set of tyres. Now he's only got to do 11 or 12 laps on each set of tyres to bring this thing home, because they do have to do 2 compulsory pit stops. So he is going to be on qualifying laps for the remainder of this race. Yeah, that's not a bad way to run this car. The other thing to think about is how much closer could Corey Shepard have been if he didn't have that mistake up into turn 2 there, where we saw him go nose on into the fence. That slowed him down a long way as well, and it's now only 4-second gap, but probably would have found himself up at the pointy end of the field running in 2nd position had that not have occurred. Yeah, that is very interesting to think of it like that. And Jordan Ross now doing a fantastic job there in the 143. And as soon as you see him racing car now, he has been in for 2 pit stops and he will have to push home on those tyres. Maybe he'll go for 3 pit stops. We're not saying you can't come in for a 3rd pit stop. We're saying minimum 2 pit stops. You can do this on a 1 pit stop strategy, but our rules are 2 pit stops. We want to see some strategy come into play here in season number 11 of the Jinx Shifters AOSC. And there we see under brakes, can he pull the car up? Bailey Frid manages to pull that in and holds out Craig Anspach, gets the move done over the Tank SRT entry, and in the background, you see Sean Lindsell now will try and take advantage of that one. Anspach pushed out, oh, is there a little bit of contact? Slides the car out. Lindsell's going to have to be careful, he's loose. Get on the bumps here as you try and pull the car back, and the weight will shift, and it's really hard to hold on. You see him slide the car around there. Well, you're going to have to watch that. That is going to be super interesting to watch as it goes on. Jamie Dyke now in the Fishing Motorsports. We've seen him come into contact before, and unfortunately that pushed him down in the pack a little bit, but he's fighting his way back. Damien Johnson now. A lot of people going into the pits now. That's what we're going to see. A lot of people choosing to take that 2nd pit stop. And that's at, we're just over halfway through this race here at Chicago. 43 laps to get around. We are on lap number 24. As you can see up there, that is Visma, the number 7, is back in position number 27 and just brushes the wall. They're trying to get that tight corner as he goes into the pit. So here's another one that has decided to take the pits at the end of lap 24. Bit of a move down here in the background. Zani, can he put the nose in? It's a tight right-hander here in turn 5. Can he pull it up? No! Oh, and the wall comes back, and look at the damage on that car.
That's a hard hit into the wall there. He's going to have a lot of damage on that. Wonder how the engine's going to be. Will we see that potentially expire on this lap as well?
Yeah, I'm going to have a look, and he has only come in for 1 pit stop. So he's only come in for 1 pit stop. Be interesting because we're also going to look at their incident points here as well, because that's when they're going to get some penalties, the pit lane penalties. So we need to watch that as well for those guys that keep coming into contact now, and that is looking a bit worse for wear from Alexani. I think if he's got a faster pair up his sleeve, now's the time to use it, because Borgie's not going to wait around. He is going to force it and go around the outside here, and Zani's just going to have to give up on that one. And oh no, contact made behind now. Jewel, is it? Or was that Freya? Freya pushed him. Or Jewel, no?
I think I was Freya involved in that one because he was right in behind Borgie there, and this is the point where the motor's going to pop. So let's see whether he's able just to nurse it home. He's not got far to go. Maybe this will avoid getting that other safety car out, but he's not going easy on it. He's going to push it hard into the lane here. Watch the guys coming through because they're not going to want to get tripped up in that, and that's all right. He gets that car home. So he'll live to fight another day. Hopefully he's still got that 1 fast repair left in the tank there, and he'll get back underway up front though. Jack Boyd looking very, very good at the moment. He's sitting still 2nd place, 7.2 seconds off the back of Dyson though. So fair bit of work for him. But here's a look at Haynes. See what happened on this one.
Yeah, Adam Haynes. He comes around, gets hard on the brake here. Oh, that same
almost
corner there, and you just, and that's it, isn't it? You've got a wide entry there, and then it narrows up as you go around the corner. So you get that deception because you can see the wall further away, but as you go around the corner, it just narrows right up, and only takes a slight lapse in concentration there and a slight mistake, and it is all over. And the amount of damage on that car. Let's see if he can get back and get a bit of a reset, maybe finish the end of this race.
Well, I did just hear too, safety car has been deployed on this time around the big one that jumped in the lane early, Corey Shepherd. So he's knocked his 2nd pit stop over and out. He's down and away as well, so that'll vault him up nicely into position. Same with Brenton Hobson. This is going to be a good run for him as well and give him a little bit of a reprieve as well.
And we spoke about this with Brenton Hobson, didn't we? Although he's already had 2 pit stops, by coming in, he's going to get in the same tyre strategy as everyone else. So I think to bring it home, he needed to come in, because you're not going to nurse it home. When these guys are coming in, putting fresh tyres on, how do you maintain the pace with those guys up the front if you're on tyres that are 10 laps older or 12 laps older? So I think Hobson doing the right thing there. It's probably going to hurt him a little bit at the moment, but I think it will even him out towards the end of the race and bring him on par, because he has been fast in racing, and hopefully he can bring that car home, as it looks like I think most of the leads are going to come in now. Will Boyd come in? This is the interesting fact. Will he get back on the same strategy? He does. He pulls in as well. So Dyson and Boyd will pull in.
Yeah, you'd expect everyone at this point who hasn't made the second stop to come through and get those sorted out. As see the guys come in, Bowden does the exact same thing as well. He was only in a few laps ago and he'll sort that out. Kuznetsov should drop in along with Haynes. So yeah, everyone's going to take that strategy, clear those stops out of the way and set themselves up. This will be the point though where Hobson sets himself up. This is actually the third stop for Hobson, so a little bit of an interesting strategy there for him. And Corey Shepherd now up into effective lead of the race here.
I think he has to. Hobson has to. He has to get back on the same tyre strategy as everyone else who wants to be in this. Better off being in 10th position with tyres than it is to be out there in first and with hurt tyres. So I think Hobson needs to get in. Corey Shepherd will effectively be leading. Well, as Boyd back out there. Boyd's got back out there, so they've just pulled in and done tyres.
Yeah, so it's actually going to put Shepherd in third. Hins, we're going to expect, is going to need to come in the lane, although he was only in on lap 20, so still yet to make his 2 compulsory stops that he needs to make as well. That might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity for him.
I wonder if they are actually getting the tyres on and off though, Dan, because like the times in pit is nothing. Are they just doing the drive-through to get the minimum stops done? They have to be stopped, but they're taking on very, very few seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the cars are stopping. If we look at Jack Boyd, for instance, only stationary 3.9 seconds, so very quick down and away. Might have been just a small little splash just to get that car home. We don't know whether he's taking tyres at that point, but it's going to be interesting to see.
All right, the Jinx Shifters Acuta Solutions safety car is on track at the moment. We're on lap 27. It's been out for 1 lap now. A lot of people have been in and out of the pit. Still a few going in the background there, down the back of the pack. But Jack Boyd, well, he's taken a risk, didn't he? He stayed out at the start. Everyone pitted early, got their first pit stop done. They have to do 2 pit stops here tonight, 43 laps. They don't need to. Tank will get you about 38 laps. With a safety car, probably push that out to 40. A lot of people, they took an early pit stop. Jack Boyd didn't. He pushed on, got nearly a 15-second lap, a gap out in the front. Andrew Dyson undercut him there. But when they came back out for the second pit stop, not long as the safety car came out, they took a second pit stop there. Jack Boyd has now come back out in front and will be leading this race on the restart. So Jack Boyd has played the strategy there. He'll be coming home on his tyres, I would say. At the moment, they're not getting too much wear. We're going to have to come home 15 laps if the safety car goes off this lap, but I don't believe it will. We do hear on Race Control there are quite a few waiver rounds to happen. So while those happen, we will be following around doing some parade laps here for the cars, but we'll have to wait and see. Boyd, though, leading this at the moment. Will he get the win? Corey Shepherd, well, so far, he #1 qualified, didn't he, Corey Shepherd? Did a fantastic lap. Purple sectors, you know, ran the fastest times around each sector. The only person to do a 123 in the single lap shootout. But unfortunately, he outbraked himself early in the race. Ran off, didn't cause too much damage to the car, but he ran off, had to reverse up and lost a few positions, and that has put him down into 4th position now for this run home here at Chicago. Round number 2 of the AOSC11, all thanks to Jinx Shifters. Another one of that is Kuznetsov, who's had a big gain out of this too, actually. He is up a number of positions for Kuznetsov. Rob Bowden as well has done well out of this one because he's 2 stops in. He is up 11 positions. Thomas Hins. Now, I did touch on him earlier and said he is a super reliable driver. He just gets in there, does his laps, keeps calm in the number 25, but he is only on 1 pit stop. So he hasn't taken advantage. He only came in around lap 20 for his last pit stop. But he has decided no, he is going to wait and see the rest of the race out and see where he's going to take his second pit stop. So it'd be interesting to see how much that could maybe be an advantage later on, or maybe it could hurt him as well.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity here. While everyone was as slow as they were to come in, if he's able to get in this time by, he might be able to still pull himself out in a decent spot with the rest of the train still having to work their way around the circuit. So that could come in and maybe help him out, but yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate run there. That's going to drop what has been a good, solid run for him. It will then promote, we expect, the likes of Shepherd and Fred and Bowden, all those guys, up another spot as he comes through.
I'll tell you what, though, some of the problems you're going to have, though, we have seen it already tonight, is that once the cars are bunched up and they get back together in that bunch, there is a lot of carnage. Now, if Hinds has a couple of possibilities here, Dan. He pulls in the pits now, and he possibly may be able to get out before about position 13 gets out. So he may be able to get back out 12, which he hasn't come in. I don't know. He stayed out there. So that was the risk, right? The other factor is, though, then he ends up in this battle pack on the restart where we have seen the carnage. Now, if we have a restart and there's a whole heap of carnage again, will he take advantage then?
Yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity there. If he had jumped in that lap there, he'd be sitting right on the back of the train there, down behind Ken Ladder as everyone cycles through. So it wouldn't have been a huge net loss for him. It would have put him down a few spots, but with the guys around him up the front, we know they're all pretty good steerers of these cars. Yes, we did see some issues on the very first lap, which we kind of expected we would have. Since then, it hasn't been too bad, so he could have come in a pretty good position at that point. This is going to only just drop him further down, unfortunately.
So if we bring up our track map again now, we have a look around. They are coming up on the back now, the 13th onwards. They're coming around and closing that gap down now. Now, I'll keep saying now, I still like saying it. Tom Freer is taking advantage, the 707 car from Synergy Sim Racing, up 20 positions now. He has had 2 pit stops, but after what was catastrophic qualifying, grabbing the wall, unfortunate for him, up 20 positions, so that is good. Andrew Gilliam, who has been in all sorts of trouble tonight, we've seen him super fast in previous races, but the street circuit has taken its toll on him, up 18 positions in P15. Damien Johnson now is back down in P16, but he's up 11 positions from where he started. Wade Sheedy up 9 positions. Sebastian Flock up 18. Alex Zani after all that, and we saw him that huge incident before where he, unfortunately brought himself unstuck and then got turned around and hit the wall. He is still up 13 positions in P25 at the moment. So I'm liking what Zani can do. He's got fresh tyres on the car, would have had a fast repair as well. The team RaceKraft Motorsport, let's see what he can do after. Super impressive in round number 1, and we did see him come third in that Drivers' Award. So the end of the season, obviously, all thanks to RaceKraft Simulations and simrigs.com. That pedal set that we are going to be giving away, and that's going to be judged on the points that they accrue through how we judge them being the best driver of each round. They will accrue some points, the 3 that we choose, and at the end of the round, the person with the most points is going to walk away with a fantastic pedal set.
Yeah, an awesome bit of kit that going out to those guys, and we saw it the first race of the season. Race consistency and putting on a good show is what you're going to need to do, and we're already seeing that here tonight. Some very talented drivers out there performing well above where we would have expected, given we haven't seen a lot of them out there so far. So it's good to see, and I would love to get a hand on that kit. Maybe we could borrow them for a little bit, keep them warm until the end of the season.
Can we get a most improved commentator?
Race version?
Yeah. Oh, let's not do that. I'll never get... Oh, actually, there is a lot that I can improve on, so there is actually a good chance I can have a go at that one.
Well, maybe we should look into that one.
Speaking of improvement, we are missing Mr. Matty Norris tonight. We big shout out to him, who's actually looking after our race 2 category. Obviously, the second split, he's looking after them tonight. Unfortunately, couldn't join us, but we hope to have him back here for round number 3, of course, because it's we always love having a bit of banter there with Norrie, and we wish we could be bantering with him right now on the microphone. Of course, we are missing all of his in-depth knowledge down the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, after race 1, dubbed the super commentator, we've seen out there. He's the people's commentator. Thank you, Mr. McKnight. We'd love to have him back in the booth here, helping along the way, and fingers crossed we've got him back for race 3. We had a fantastic chat with him round 1, and looking forward to having him back in the commentary booth again.
All right, we're just waiting to see what is happening with the safety car, because hopefully with all the wave rounds done, they're all bunched back up. Hopefully we will see a safety car go off the track. Brenton Nitsky is just in the background in the number 34th position. He'll have to catch up, but we don't really worry about that. We just want to see the safety car go off, and it looks like it is leaving the pack. It is moving away. I think the safety car is coming in. We are out to get back underway racing. Jack Boyd, after everything that has happened, he is now leading after that superb start where we went around the outside of Dyson and Corey Shepherd. He went around the outside to take on P1. He took the risk. He ran it home. He didn't come in for the early pit stop. He will restart this race now, and we are back underway as we come around. Lap number 30. We complete it. We go into lap 31. That means we got 14 laps left to complete. In this race, we're in single file. Who's going to take a risk? Big dive down the inside. Oh, no. Car spun around as well. Who was that on the inside? Todd Haynes been spun around, but who was it that took the dive? Was it,
Couldn't see it.
was it
Like,
Ross? Was it Ross?
It might have been a DPR car, but not too sure. We saw one of the Coda cars very off to the side, just letting everyone funnel their way through. But let's have a look back here and see what transpired in this one. Right on board here with Jordan. This might tell us what's happened. He's had a big lunge down the inside there. Kept it off the wall. Just don't know whether that, we didn't see it from the other angle. That might have been what turned Haynes around though.
Yeah, it might have been. It'll be interesting to see it from a different angle there. But Jordan Ross does a nice move there. Not waiting around to try and make those moves, was he? He wants to get this done early. Fresh tyres. He's loaded up, pulls out, gets it done. He was never going to pull that up there. And oh no, he gets a bit of love from behind from Brenton Hobson. Haynes tried to avoid there with Ross, and Hobson's just given him a little bit of a nudge from behind. So unfortunately for Todd Haynes, that has spun him around. And the Taipan Esports car is pushed to the back of the pack. So that's going to hurt there. And look at that too, the amount of damage on Christian Smart's car in the pit lane. So another one that hasn't benefited from the restart.
Yeah, and that's a tough break there for Hobson. Not a lot he probably could have done to avoid that that incident with Jordan Ross going down the inside as far as he did. So very unfortunate there for Haynes, but mate, he's put on an awesome drive so far tonight.
Yeah, as you can see, Haynes going to be going around his own, Todd Haynes. So he's going to have some clean air. He'll have an opportunity to catch up to the pack and maybe get a few positions at the end. But Boyd's still leading this one, but Dyson is not letting him go.
No.
Jordan Ross is going to get caught in this little battle pack as well now with Rick Kuznetsov and Bailey Frid behind him. So Kuznetsov just in front. We see Corey Shepherd now. Now he is going to have to watch out because Thomas Hinz, well, he's on fresh tyres too. Well, he's just got past Thomas Hinz, but Thomas Hinz still has a pit stop to take. So Corey Shepherd now pushing on. He needs to catch up to Dyson, see what he can do. I mean, he put himself in a podium position, but he's got plenty of silver. And I tell you what, he'd prefer gold over bronze. So he's looking for the P1. He's pushing hard. Michael Talianchis now doing a move. They're all coming through. Dyke now under brakes, locks it up. Oh, ladder, is that involved there too? The 554. No, that's Sean Lindsell. Dyke though came in hot, didn't he? Oh, look at Justin Clayton.
They're all struggling to get the power down in the back here as Clayton there with the big wiggle.
Well, there you go. It looks like we can see a drive-through happening now for the number 88, Brenton Hobson. I reckon that's from the restart where he gave Todd Hayne a little bit of a bump from behind and spud Hayne around. So he's getting a drive-through penalty for that one and copping that one on the chin there from race control. So he will move back down the pack. Now you can see Brian Borg has worked his way back up into 9th position, the Premier Racing Team entry. So nice job to get back in the race there from Brian Borg after that early incident that pushed him right down into the last 10 of the race. And who's this, the 888 now? Oh, that's Kyle Stokes. That car has been damaged all night.
Yeah, let's have a look at this big telltale down into turn 1 here by the looks, and just comes through. He's got Hobson on the outside there. I don't think there's any contact between the teammates as they work their way across, and actually it's Talianchich just in the back there. I don't know whether he gave him a hit or not, or whether he's just released the brakes a bit early, but that's a tough hit into the wall.
Yeah, it's going to be hard from that angle to tell whether Talianchich actually made contact, because Talianchich was hard on the brake and locked up as well. So we'll have to let race control adjudicate over that one and see what happens. We move back down to Kenneth Ladder now, who's right behind him is Aaron Dodd. And Ladder just under the rear wing of Brian Borg. We keep moving back down, and we'll see Dodd now. He's right under Kenneth Ladder's when he pulls out, tries to grab some wear. And look at Brian Borg putting another move on here. He's going to see if he can get past Bailey Frid. Oh, as they turn in, turn number 1. It's been really upsetting for some drivers tonight. There's been a lot of incidents on this one. He's on the outside though for Borgie. He holds on to it. Frid, he's not going to give up that position easily. Now he slots back in. Borg just has the run down on this one.
And that's a nice move from Borg there, going a long way around the outside there. He positions the car nicely into 4 and down into 5 as Frid hits the wall there and rebounds back in front of Ken Ladder there. So hopefully no major steering damage on that car either.
Yeah, I see Borgie there. He's just got a little bit of damage too. He's just giving a bit of a brush at the wall as well because just using it to get the car straight again. And look at Ladder now. He's going to go around the outside of Brit if he can. And on the inside, Dodge put his nose in as well in the 9.5 Sim Sport entry. Ladder pushes down. Have to be careful under brakes here. It's very narrow. Oh, he locks the wheel up. Be interesting to see if he got tagged from behind there. And, well, Dodd, I don't know. It's just so close there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really tough spot on the circuit there. It narrows right down as you see Steve Knetzoff have a bit of a moment there as well, and that lets Clayton through on him as well. But yeah, it's a very tight section. We're going to get another look at it here down into this section of the circuit. More contact as the guys to try and carry that little bit too much speed through there to maximise the lap, and we've seen a lot of guys not only in qualifying but also the race tonight that have had some moments there.
Tell you what, Briggs, after such a fantastic race last week, coming home in second, will not be happy to be down in that fight down the back of the pack, Briggs. It's unfortunate for him. We check out a replay here. Michael Teleancic in the 777 car. And he comes around. Is it Sean Lindsell behind him? We're just going to have a look. Maybe a bit of walk on this. Tap of the brakes, pulls it in as they go through turn number 10. You can see how bumpy the track is there. Lock up the brakes. No one else but himself there. Just too fast around the corner and understeers at that point. And now he gets a bit of a love tap from behind. His car's going through, nowhere to go. And Teleancic will turn that car around and get back underway racing, but not having another great night. And this just shows the importance, doesn't it, Dan, how important it is to qualify up the front of the field. When you've got that speed, which we know Teleancic does have, he has the speed. When you get caught up in traffic like that, it is very dangerous and very hard to work your way back into the race.
Well, yeah, and look, it's not only just the qualifying that you need to get down pat as well. It's the time involvement that all these guys spend throughout the week to maximise the performance of these cars. There's obviously a huge amount of time spent getting up to grips with a brand new circuit like we've got here at Chicago. So you see Adam Briggs with another bounce off the wall there. It's getting the cars to work over the bumps, and that's been very, very critical here tonight. We've seen the guys very, very jittery as they get across some of those curbs, and as a result, we've seen some big moves, big slides, and unfortunately some big contacts into the wall.
Almost 3 wide for the battle for the lead now. Jack Boyd on the inside. Dyson goes around. Corey Shepherd trying to do, but Boyd squeezes him out. Check out this. We've got a 3-car battle, but it's Dyson who has the advantage at this point. Boyd puts it in. Corey Shepherd gets out, and the marbles goes wide. Holds onto it though. It was starting to get around the track here. Turn number 5. We head down to the left-hander at turn number 6. We've got a run on. I don't think Shepherd might not have it here, but Boyd is defensive and on the inside line. He's going to have to watch out for those painted lines though. They get under brakes. Dyson though, he's got all the pressure on behind him. He's made the move stick. Can he hold it out? We've got ourselves another 8 laps or 7.5 laps to complete of this race. Turn number 7, we turn it in. It's shallow on the exit. Corey Shepherd, does he just settle it down here, Dan? Compose himself and then just take another shot at Boyd. He had the opportunity there. They were all bunched up, but it looks like they pulled back into their racing line, and Shepherd's just going to have to reevaluate where he's at and look for his moment again.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the prime opportunity there for Shepherd. He just lifted the throttle a little bit, coasted into third, down through 4 and 5. And I think that was a smart move there. Didn't need to push the issue too far. Try and apply that extra little bit of pressure onto Boyd and force the issue as he's doing now. So look for the move here down into turn 1. He thinks about throwing the nose up the inside, not quite close enough to get that done as well. This will be a telling run to see how he goes down through turn 2. He's got a little bit of room to make up here. What's it like as he floats the car across the corner? It's not bad. It's a good exit, runs it wide out to the wall, but a little bit better again from Boyd too.
Well, he's probably learned from one of the best, James Scott, where he's had to try and pass him all of season 10. So he will have this, you know, he knows what the moves are and what he's got to watch out for, but he can't be too patient in this position too, because Dyson is fast and he is going to start pulling away bit by bit by bit. Like on the last lap, 0.7 of a second, Dyson was faster than Jack Boyd. Now that was in an overtaking lap. So now he's got clean air. If he can just break that slipstream there from Boyd, you watch Dyson pull away. So Shepherd, although he's got to find his moment, he's got to wait for the opportunity and he's got to take it. He can't wait too long and he needs to push on and put that pressure on to Boyd, because otherwise he is not going to catch Dyson now, as we've only got 6.5 laps left in this race.
Absolutely, and the more that these two, the second and third, continue to fight, the better it's going to be for Dyson as well. I mean, we saw that earlier on in the race with Sheedy and Borg getting into their own little scrap amongst the teammates. The minute Sheedy got involved in the battle, Brian was able to skip 2.5 seconds up the road. So they're going to have to be cautious here that doesn't eventuate, and that for Shepherd, he's able to get the move done and dusted sooner rather than later.
Here we go, another look, and look at Boyd. He's going to have to be very, very defensive. So the inside Shepherd can hold his line there, and this is where he might get some drive here, maybe a bit of a crisscross action, but can't get it to go. Looking for the drive here. Now here he can make it. You've got this slight right-hander, you're full throttle. If he can push Boyd, it's the slightest mistake. We'll see someone go off at this track. You just need to be careful because the repercussions that can be with the walls is they actually bounce off the wall back into you. Shepherd there, you can see how close the Mr. Antenna Mustang is. Part of the Premier Racing team. Shepherd now goes down the inside, gets under brakes. Can he make it stick here at turn number 6? He's down the inside. Oh, they make a little bit of contact and they make a bit of room there. There's not much to give here, but Boyd's now on the inside. Locks it up under brakes, slides the car in. Crisscross there from Shepherd now as he gets the run down, the right-hander. Oh. Boyd still has the pace. Oh, they are just exchanging some livery.
Great battling between both these two through the toughest section on the circuit as well. And Shepherd just going to have to settle down a little bit. Boyd gets a moment there. Did he touch the wall as well on the exit?
Oh, look at that. Boyd just flinches in. Oh, no, Shepherd locked up sideways. Oh, it's a drift series here, but unfortunately too much handbraking. The bum drag too much for him as he comes around. I know he was just sliding in under brakes, but what a reprieve for Boyd because Shepherd there with a big moment there. Hinds has gone past, so has Bowden. Well, don't worry about Hinds because he has not taken his second pit stop, but Bowden, and he will know how to put the elbows out and be super defensive if he needs to be. I'm sure he won't do it too much on Shepherd because Shepherd should have the advantage here. I'll tell you what, Rob Bowden tonight at the moment is my pick for driver of this race because he is up 13 positions and look at this. He is in an opportunity to be on the podium because Hinds has to have another pit stop. Remember that. 4 laps left, 4.5 laps left, and Hinds has to do another pit stop. Now, Bowden there, make sure he fills up any gap there that Corey Shepherd can get his nose into. He's around the outside, but he's going to be on the inside run here. He's got to get past Hinds and make sure Shepherd stays behind. In the meantime, Dyson is gone. Dyson has just blown away from the pack. Look at this last lap. Dyson, a 1:24.53. Behind him, a 1:26 from Boyd and a 1:25 from Thomas Hinds. So Dyson is way gone. Something is going to have to happen. Corey Shepherd's just going to have to be super aggressive here and make a move on just about every second or third corner if he wants to get back up into some sort of podium contention.
Well, he will. And keep an eye on who's just behind him as well as we ride on board with Jordan Ross. Jordan's come back through after being in some big issues earlier on in the night. Only a couple of spots down from where he started, but able to start applying the pressure. I think, though, big move at the moment, as you were saying before. Rob Bowden, though, has got the elbows out. He's making it extremely tough there for Corey Shepherd to get through. And surprisingly, Hinds hasn't still blinked yet to get that final pit stop completed. He's the cork in the bottle here. Although he's out of contention, he's still the cork in the bottle.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Dan. Cork in the bottle, and once that pop, that race is going to explode. You're going to see Bowden and Shepherd fighting for the podium.
Well, how good is this? We thought it was going to be Shepherd there trying to get past Boyd and go and try and catch Dyson. But no, Dyson, he has done everything right when it comes to pit stop strategy. Boyd, I thought he was going to hold him out. You know, they've ended up back at the back half of this race, all in the same position. But Corey Shepherd, that huge moment a couple of laps ago where he just locked the back brakes up there. You saw Hinds and Bowden go past. Now, the biggest question is when will Hinds go in? Because when Hinds goes in, Bowden's going to get the chance to go. He's going to have some fresh air, but Shepherd all over the back of him as he slides the car, and Jordan Ross is ready there in the background and sitting there. You don't see the attitude of Jordan Ross's car, do you? It's stable. Oh, and I say that now, I give him the commentator's curse, but, you know, he looked a lot more stable there as they lead away now, and he's got to watch out because Kuznetsov is right behind him because he is going to join into that one as well. Kuznetsov and Borgie, well, he's just seen a party in front and decided, I want to catch up and be part of that.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, keep an eye on Kuznetsov just sitting in behind Jordan Ross there. His car's looking very, very nice as well. We've seen all the Premier Racing cars been pretty decent on the tyres tonight as well. So they're going to set themselves up for a good show here to finish out the race. Bowden still with the elbows out. This will be the opportunity for Shepherd that he needs to try and send one down the inside into 4. He's just going to place that car nicely on the racing line and make it near on impossible for Shepherd to get the run here. So this is a great battle for all the guys, basically from effective third position down to seventh at this point in time. Gilliam, though, not that far off the back of this train either, as he flashes the lights just to let him know he's coming.
Yeah, I love how they're just lining up, and I have a feeling Bowden does not have the pace to hold out Shepherd here for another 2.5 laps, because Shepherd fast and Hinds is now moving away. Now, considering how much tyre wear they're going into, it was lap 20, I think, where Hinds came in. It was. So he has 6 laps older tyres now. Bowden now is watching out for Corey Shepherd. He needs to forget Corey Shepherd for a second and just push on. Hinds needs to get out of, when will Hinds go into the pits? This is the question. When will he go in? Bowden is dropped back a little bit now. Corey Shepherd needs to make the move. 2 laps left to do it. Dyson leading us now with 2 laps left. Jack Boyd in second. Hinds in third. Bowden in fourth. Corey Shepherd now back to fifth after starting off P1 at the start of this race at Chicago.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do here. 2 laps left in it for Bowden, who's just starting to get a little bit squirrely. When we focus on this, that gap to first position, Andrew Dyson's still starting to extend. It's 3.5 seconds at the moment over himself and Boyd. This is the scrap, though, for effective third on track. Bowden still just placing that car beautifully on circuit, really making it hard for Shepherd to get through here. And as they work their way down onto the back straight, keep an eye down in towards 6 here, because it's going to tighten up, and if Corey can get the nose in, it's going to make it very hard for Bowden to try and hold off.
Look at Borgie close that gap too over Kuznetsov. Rick Kuznetsov needs to watch out. Now he is dropping off the back of Jordan Ross as Borgie starts to put the pressure on. Oh, he shows his intentions here. Corey Shepherd, he puts the nose in. Under brakes again, though. He's really struggling under brakes in the Mr. Antenna Mustang. You can see the car sliding around.
Yeah, and that was set up too from a little moment there from Bowden as he just caught the wall on 6 on the exit, and that allowed Shepherd in with a good run to come and have a go at him. Not quite close enough. He's still just nibbling at the rear of that car, though.
Can he get it done? They come around. One more corner to go, and then the white flag is up. It is the final lap after 42 laps. We're on the final lap now of this round number 2 here. AOSC11, Chicago. Who will end up to finish the podium off here? Because Thomas Hinds hasn't had his second pit stop, so count him out. So you can't finish the race in pit lane. He hasn't had his second pit stop. He will get penalised. He will get pushed back, and maybe that's the risk he's going to take, as he may end up in the top 10 still. That might be what happens. So Bowden needs to watch out. Bowden needs to watch out and hold out Corey Shepherd at this point. I don't think Jordan Ross is close enough to make a move. He is not there because Netsov's too far back. Brian Borg's too far back. Here we go. Shepherd makes the move on Bowden. They're side by side. They head down to turn 6. It's a left-hander. The inside will be Bowden. Corey Shepherd, though, is in the front. Can he hold on to this one? He gets it done, too, because you don't want to be side by side coming into turn number 7. Now can Bowden hold out a hard-charging Jordan Ross as well? Will the Synergy team get themselves into P5? Rob Bowden needs to worry about this one, but this one's your race leader on the final lap. The Simrigs DPR entry, Andrew Dyson. He has come from the front row of the grid. He was in P2 at the start. What a qualifying too. He was not in the top 10 in qualifying. In pre-qualifying, he was down. He ended up making it into P2, gets himself a win in the number 41, the Simrings.com DPR. Jack Boyd, well, held out for so long, ends up in second position. Thomas Hinds crosses in third, but he has only pit stopped once according to our timing there. Corey Shepherd in fourth, but we believe that will be a third. Rob Bowden ends up in fifth. Great run from him too. Jordan Ross there. Rick Kuznetsov in seventh. Brian Borg in eighth. Gilliam in ninth, and Tom Freer manages to get into the 10 now. Gilliam and Freer up 24 positions after what was a terrible qualifying session, and now the boys are partying in the background, having a bit of fun as they finish off the race here, round number 2 of the AOSC, all thanks to Jinx Shifters and RaceKraft Simulations over there in WA. And still a few more people to get around, but there's your race leader, Andrew Dyson. Now, we are going to wait for race control to confirm with us before we bring him in and chat with him here in the commentary box. But Dan, yeah, my timing screen is saying 1 pit stop for Thomas Hinds, so I do believe a penalty there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm only seeing the 1 also, so we'll wait to see how that one's adjudicated. It was advised 2 compulsory stops tonight, so failure to do so is not going to be great. That we would expect will bring Corey Shepherd up there, but Mate, what a great race we've seen tonight. We saw plenty of argy-bargy from the guys coming through, some big panel bills with the amount of contact we saw out there. Have a look at Dyson's car there, a nice little bit of a wall wound down the left corner there. But awesome racing.
Well, a street circuit always brings that excitement, doesn't it? The walls are there, there's no runoff, you can't see around them, especially with the painted lines and everything like that. It's bumpy. A street circuit always brings a dogfight to the end. There's always carnage. We always see a safety car as well. And I am hearing that Andrew Dyson is that his first career win, is what I'm hearing. So I can't confirm that, but we do believe this could be his actual first career win. He's got a few podiums. He's got some silverware and some bronzeware in his cabinet, but never brought home the gold. So the celebration burnouts will get underway here at Chicago, and he'll bring it into the Chicago cul-de-sac like he would on a normal Saturday night or Friday evening. Get the rest of those tyres off the back of the simrigs.com DPR entry, but our winner, Andrew Dyson, and a nice job from him to come off the front row and bring that car home. A little bit of a battle there with Jack Boyd for a while, but what about the battle though, guys? And you were there at the end, Norrie, when you come in on this one. Jack Boyd and Corey Shepherd, what a battle that was.
Intense, just intense. I mean, Shepherd threw everything at it. I mean, obviously, I'm taking my hat off to Rob Bowden. That was man of the match for me. Even though it was only here for the last couple of laps, that was still a massive defence at the end for Rob Bowden. But Shepherd really fought hard to get where he wanted to be.
Yeah, I think he did. It was Shepherd. You know, you cannot take anything away from the young man. He tried everything. He pulled all the moves out. Some experienced race car drivers in front of him. I think Jack Boyd just kept his nerve there. Anything could have gone wrong for him, but he managed to stay there. And you can see the results come up here for round number 2. All thanks to Jinx Shifters and RaceKraft Simulations. The results from tonight's round 2 at Chicago. Andrew Dyson is our winner in the simrigs.com DPR entry. Behind him, Jack Boyd in second, Synergy Sim Racing. Thomas Hinz, we are waiting to get that adjudicated because we do believe only one pit stop. Then it goes back to Corey Shepherd, Rob Bowden, Jordan Ross, Rick Kuznetsov, Brian Borg, Andrew Gilliam, and in 10, Tom Freer. Bailey Frid in 11, Glenn Postlethwaite in 12th, Craig Anspach. Alex Zani, another one, he went up and down the field but got back to 14th. Kenneth Ladder there, Anthony Jewell, Damien Johnson, and Sebastian Flock in 18. We keep going down. Todd Hayne, another one who came back quite a bit there from Mr. Hayne there after some incidents where he got spun around but managed to work his way back into 19th. Brenton Hobson, drive-through penalty there, 20th. Adam Briggs in 21, didn't have the night he wanted and had to work his way back through. Sean Lindsell, 22. Michael Taliancic, up and down the field like a yo-yo again. Jamie Dyke with a heap of incidents in 24th. Anthony Visma in 25th. Harry Dodds, 26th. Jeremy Maxwell, Sebastian Tixia now. He did really well at the start of the race, held out all the way to the end, took those pit stops, but unfortunately had to take 2 at the end of the race. Comes out in 28th. Adam Hayne back in 29th. Then it was Wade Sheedy, Justin Clayton, Brenton Nitschke, Greg Sharp back in 33, Stephen Kikoski in 34th, Aaron Dodd back in 35th, Kyle Stokes 36th, Christian Smark, Roderick Hollis rounds it out to 38, and then Scott Bartigan. Is Scott Bartigan? Yes. Yeah, he's our safety car driver, so he did a few laps tonight too. So, but Roderick Hollis, unfortunately, for the Froglet Racing Team, the last one there. So, yeah, some of those guys down the back, a bit of a tough night for some of the names in there, as you can see, that were up the front. But unfortunately, when it came to the end of the race, they were stuck in the battle pack. And I do believe joining us in the commentary box is our race winner, Andrew Dyson. Congratulations, the Simrigs DPR car brings home the gold tonight.
Are you talking to me? Yeah, hey guys.
Yeah.
Oops, my bad. How you going, guys?
Yeah, good, mate. We're not doing as good as you. You've got to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and work out what exactly happened and work out how the bloody hell that unfolded. But no, how cool is that,
mate? Is this your first career win? Is it your first round win?
For AOSC, yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, mate, congratulations from all of us here. I mean, what you didn't see going on behind you was a fantastic battle from Jack Boyd and Corey Shepherd, which probably actually gave you a bit of time to breathe there. How hard was it to get past Jack Boyd? Because he was definitely trying to be very defensive.
Yeah, he had some pretty good pace at the end there. But, as that last stint kind of went on, it looked like his rear started to go away, and I got a bit closer. And I just had to put some pressure on him and try and make something happen. But, yeah, once we got it done, don't worry, I was keeping like kind of half an eye on the mirror because I could see him. Jack. I can see Jack doing me pretty big favors back there. So just on the sly, I'll give him a little thanks for that. But yeah, it was pretty tough racing still. Don't worry about that.
How did you find the Chicago track? How did you find the track at Chicago being a street circuit, obviously with all those walls?
Yeah, I really enjoy the street circuits. Sometimes I'm not very good at them, but this one I don't know. I seem to be okay this week. And yeah, I mean, I didn't have the fastest car out there. I wasn't the fastest out there tonight, but I enjoy them, so that helps. And yeah, how good's that? Yeah, I'm pretty shocked actually.
Mate, you put together a ripper qualifier. You came second, right behind Corey Shepherd. So you definitely had pace tonight. Don't say you didn't, because yeah, you were number 2 qualifier, and going into round 3, that'll actually put you in the points lead. So you'll be leading our championship at the moment.
I don't expect that to last, but yeah, I'll live it up while I can.
Look, mate, you guys last year between yourself, I tell you what, and Adam Briggs, it was like a 3 and a 5, and you sort of went between those two, between the two of you. So I said this year it's either going to be 2 or 4 and 1 and 3, but unfortunately Briggs is a bit further down.
No, a bit of a shocker night for Briggs, which is no fault of his own, but yeah, probably a bit of a case for a shocker for all the boys, but no, I'll tell you what, if there was a teams championship last season, we probably would have taken it out. So it's beyond that doesn't exist, but yeah, we'll come back next round and we'll all be a lot better for sure.
No, mate, well, congratulations on tonight. Do you want to run through your sponsors? Just make sure you thank them all.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I actually heard he's in qualifying, talking about those Phoenix Smokers. So if you want to come down for a bit of a celebration for a W, come on down to simrigs.com and we'll see him. We'll hook you up. Got 2 gun chefs down there, and Derek Audie and Pete Gardner. They'll sort you out with some low and slow cooking. Yeah, simrigs.com, South Vale Listen Hoist, Benmax Mechanical, MP Designs, and did I say South Vale Listen Hoist? I don't know, man. I haven't got my list in front of me.
You're just too happy, mate.
Yeah, I know.
All I heard was Phoenix Smokers come down for some slow cooked meat, and that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, come on down. Yeah, got all the good barbecue sauces, and barbecue. I don't know.
Look,
all the good stuff, man. Just come down.
Yeah, we need to send Norrie down there, mate. He's bulking up at the moment.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, get him down. We'll get some protein in him.
All right, mate. Congratulations on the win tonight, and it's fantastic to hear from you. Hopefully, we'll hear from you next round.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks, guys. See you.
Oh, he is super excited, and how good was that as we drag Corey Shepherd in to have a bit of a chat here, mate. We're just waiting to hear the official, but what a battle that was out there, mate. You looked like you were struggling under brakes.
Yeah, that was a tough race. A few mistakes in there, but overall happy with the result.
Yeah, you were fast in qualifying, mate. Definitely had the pace there. I mean, how hard is it to overtake around this street circuit?
Oh, like no other circuit. It's really tough.
And we believe you may have got third here, because Thomas Hins on our screen's only pit stopped once. So we do believe you actually are going to end up in third, hopefully. And not a bad way to continue the season after last week, too. It'll get you some points in the bag.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with how we got away with that after our few mischiefs at the start. But yeah, good to get some points.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a fight back, wasn't it, after those breaks earlier? And Jack Boyd, I mean, you know, fantastic racer. Do you think you had the pace to get past him and go away if he'd let you past?
Oh, hard to say. It was a good battle, but yeah, little mistake from me. But oh well, next time.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, look, I tell you what, I do a drifting series, and I reckon, you know, if we get your handbrake, I reckon we get you on there. Definitely the Mr. Antenna Mustang could be sideways.
Sounds good.
Oh, look, mate, you want to run through your sponsors? Make sure you thank them all.
Yeah, big thanks to Mr. Antenna, all the guys at Premier Racing Team, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
No worries, Coyd. Well, I'm sure we will be speaking to you as the season goes on, because you are a young talent, and we expect to see a few more podiums out of you again for season 11.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, I tell you what, I don't think we got Mr. Boyd. Is he going to jump in with us, Jack Boyd? No, I think Boyd is long gone, but he's on the podium too. A big congratulations to him for coming second there in the Synergy Sim Racing. Jack Boyd, fantastic race from him tonight, guys. And what a start it was, Dan, for Boyd, who just went around the outside, didn't he? Daiso and Shepherd, I don't think they knew it. They were too busy watching each other as it went into turn one. He just went around the outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got a fantastic jump. As you say, went the long way around the outside, avoided that big incident we saw early on, set himself up for a great run. When we saw him get out the front, just controlled the pace nicely, and he did exactly what Andrew Dyson did in the back half of the race. Just at the start, he built himself a nice gap, didn't miss a mark, got the car through nicely, and it was just the way the safety cars unfolded. Didn't quite work out there on the strategy, but He placed the car beautifully. And then we saw at the back end of the race, he got into a hell of a fight with Dyson and Shepherd. Manages to hold off against the charge of Corey, which is no mean feat to do. We've seen other guys out there struggle in that scenario and held on to a fantastic job. I think the big one is, as you guys were saying as well, Rob Bowden just missing out on the podium. And I mean, we didn't pick him to be up there at the start of the race, but he came through the field superbly there for Tanked SRT.
Well, big shout out to our sponsors here for the Jinx Shifters, AOSC11, and of course, a big shout out to RaceKraft Simulations for getting on board. We will be voting, of course, on the RaceKraft Simulations simrigs.com best drivers and put their points towards that fantastic pedal set that simrigs.com and RaceKraft Simulations are going to be giving away at the end of the season. Also, shout out to Race Circuit Art Australia, Track Cams for Gourmets, AJ Insurance Services, Acuta Solutions, of course, for safety, all your rigging, all your high access stuff. Go and check them out, and you can find them on Facebook. And Team 126 Racing over from New York, who are broadcasting our fantastic racing from the AOSC over on the United States. So it's great to see them getting it out there. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks, Norrie, for jumping in later in the race, mate. It's good to hear from you looking after our Split 2 category tonight.
Yeah, it was good to look after Split 2, but nothing can keep me away from the main game here in my comfortable commentary box chair.
Mate, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Dan, thanks for joining us again tonight. We've got round number 3 coming your way from Red Bull Ring, and that's on the 6th of August. So we've got a couple of weeks again. So you get another break next Friday night, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, Dan.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one, the second of our new circuits to the calendar. And you know, if the racing's as good as what we've seen so far in the first 2 races, can only wait to think of what it's going to be like when we hit the Red Bull Ring.
No worries, guys. Thanks for everyone who's joined us on the broadcast. Thanks to our broadcast team, and we will see you again on the 6th of August in the Red Bull Ring for round number 3 of the Jinx Shifters AOSC11.